Hey guys, welcome to episode 286 of 4PlayAnimecast. It is 10:16 p.m. over in Eastern Standard Time. 6th of December 2025, and this will likely be the last podcast episode for both the both the fall 2025 reviews as well as
Ever.
it's done. We're done. We're just all going into gambling now. Sorry guys.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this will be the last one for the year. I believe we're gonna push our preview winter 2025 season preview shows to next year or hopefully early next year, as well as our end of the year awards, of course. So watch out for those. And here are my compatriots, as usual: Near,
So
Toast,
What?
Dark.
Hello.
All right, 2 weeks, real quick. Let's go. Near.
I got another tooth pulled.
Okay,
So that was
nice.
that.
Hell
But
yeah.
Yeah, another was
You also didn't have to pay $1 billion for it. That was cool.
Yep. Yeah, I went in and I didn't pay a dime. It's pretty cool actually.
Wow.
You know, I think I got it better where I have a month right now where I'm not even allowed to go see a doctor because I'm transferring insurances.
I
It's
think
cool.
Nier is just jealous of the fact that he is not able to pay $5,000 every time he visits the doctor, to be honest.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, it's a real bummer. Yeah. Yeah, this one went a lot smoother. It was actually like
Okay.
shocking how quick it was. Like I sat down,
Nice.
they gave me the freezing, and then they wait. Obviously, they wait for it to set in, but like after it was all numbed, it was like I opened my mouth. He tugged on it like 2 times, and he was like, "All right, tooth." It's like holy shit. Okay.
I think the good thing is also because I think also a lot of like dentist culture and like that sort of treatment or like how dentists are like seen by the public is also effective from years and years, like decades long ago, when we have all those scenes where it's like, oh, we go to the dentist and all we hear is like, like F1 Finding
Yeah.
Nemo scene where it's like, and people are like, oh shit, it's done, we're doomed, kind of thing. But it's definitely a lot better these days.
Yeah,
So.
for sure. I feel like I don't know. It could just be like this place that I'm going to, but I also feel like it's a lot quicker. Like a bit more professional almost, where like the dentist kind of just like, yeah, I'm just here to like do what I need to do and like go on your way. It's less like, all right, I'm gonna make you sit here for like 20 minutes in this chair while I like fuck off and leave the room and do nothing.
Yeah.
But
And
yeah,
pretend to scan something.
yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I did that. On that, playing mahjong, playing some old JRPGs, some old Falcom RPGs, some old East, old Xanadu. Yeah. Other than that,
Nice.
the new Elden Ring Night Rain DLC came out. Played a little bit of that. Cool. I haven't gotten to experience the new map yet, which apparently everybody hates. Apparently it's straight dog shit. So I haven't been able to get to that just yet. But yeah, other than that, mostly just been chilling, to be honest.
Nice.
Dude, you left out that you're a Guild Wars refugee now.
Oh yeah, true. Yeah, I've been playing a bit of Guild Wars 2 as well. Although I've been playing that at a much slower pace. I tend to with Guild Wars 2 I kinda like boot it up, do like a couple little world events or like one of the heart things or whatever, and I kind of just log off. Yeah, it's been fun.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you very much, Nier. What about you, Dark? 2 weeks, please.
I've been playing a lot of Guild Wars too. Yeah. What was it? I think it was like after Thanksgiving or something like that. Maybe the weekend after or something. I got a little intoxicated and bought some gold and bought the infinite, what is it, the self-style hair kit, so I can change my character's hair whenever I want now. We're
Sure,
not
full
gonna get
maple
into how
story on
much
that
that
shit.
was. Yeah, we're not gonna get into how much that was.
Oh my god.
But yeah, Guild War's been fun. I've been really enjoying that. I gotta beg them to make a certain hairstyle not clip through everything, but you know, I'll get to that at some point. Um, and then other than that, also played the Elden Ring DLC. I did experience the map. It is not good. The problem, so not to get too into it, but the problem with the map is basically there are like there's this crystal thing that halves your health if you fucking go into these boss tower areas. And so what you have to do is you have to break these 4 little crystals around the map. They're not that little, but they're like smaller. And the problem is you kind of have to just play the same exact way every single time you do the run, where you just break those crystals, you break the curse, you go to the boss towers, day 2, so on and so
Oh,
forth.
okay.
So there's like literally no change to the map as you're doing it, which is unfortunate because like the main gimmick was of the game is like, oh, like there's these shifting earths that like put a new zone in the map, and it kind of changes what you want to do. But this one just being a whole new map is like, okay, so it just like doesn't change. And I think it's like the least fun rotation. And it's also got really messed up verticality and stuff, and like a pain in the ass to navigate. So yeah,
Right.
not optimal. But yeah, other than that, trying to think. World of Warcraft Housing came out. That's been very fun. That's been cool. That's been a really, really well. Trying to think what else. Oh yeah, I mean, me and Nier have been playing Marvel
Malting.
Rivals. You know, malting in Marvel Rivals.
The better Marvel game.
Insulting
You mean?
people. Yeah. I mean, that's got music that actually doesn't sound like complete ass. So you know.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so like that's been kind of fun. Helldivers 2. Helldivers 2 is now only 22 gigabytes instead of 154. So like that's
Nice.
kind of cool. So I've been playing some of that. The new update is pretty good. The new Gatling minigun leaves something to be desired. And then yeah, as far as my only other thing in gaming really had been doing Fallout 76 because that had a new update too. That added Walter Goggins, the ghoul from the hit TV series Fallout. So that's been interesting. But yeah, all that's been fun. As far as anime goes, been keeping up with stuff. Fell behind on Sonda, but I'm working on catching up with that. And I watched the Kamen Rider double, the Futopi Skull movie. And that was really good. So I'm hoping that we see a season 2 next year. That would be nice. I think that's that it for anime. Other than the new series, yeah, pretty much. I mean, I've been catching up with stuff. There's a lot of stuff that I had neglected to like start. So, like I started the new season of Spy Family and such.
Right.
So yeah, there's a lot of series like that I'm starting to chip away at now, instead of watching like truly new series. Because spoiler alert, this season's not that great for that. So
Yeah, that's true. All right. Well, thank you very much, Dark. And on to Toast. What about you? 2 weeks, please.
What?
All the weeks.
Oh, stuff happened.
Okay. Pretty quiet
Tojima's
overall.
pretty good, I guess. Tojima's pretty good. Y'all should play Tojima. Or y'all should watch Tojima. Spire.
okay.
But Spire, what's the best Romeo and Juliet adaptation?
The best Romeo and Juliet adaptation?
Yes,
There's only
correct
one answer.
Yeah.
Wait, what's the answer?
Have you seen it?
Yeah,
Probably
you obviously
not.
haven't seen the best one. It's 1996
Yeah,
Romeo plus Juliet. Obviously, with Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yeah, dude.
Oh,
Have you
with
not seen that
Oh,
movie?
this one? No, I have
Yeah.
not
What?
actually.
Dude.
Oh my god.
Oh
This
my
guy.
god, you have to watch it.
This
It's
guy.
so
Missed
good.
out.
Oh my god. All right. But yeah. Anything else?
Y'all be ready to roll for that Kita-san Black Banner?
The rerun is coming. But yeah. So
Sounds-
mostly just horses, I guess. All the
Uh,
horses.
I got an upgrade. That was it. That was cool.
Okay. Upgrade to what?
Yeah, cool upgrade. What else? You ever, what else? Oh yeah, goodbye, Kanata.
Oh yeah. Kanata is
Super
leaving.
Sentai Gokaiger is
Oh,
One Piece with it, but with a twist. No, it's not. Anyway, oh yeah, Kanata is going away.
Mhm.
What else? Well, the 26th or 27th, after Christmas,
Mhm.
due to a lot of things, the usual,
Yeah.
and it was kind of expected. What else? Hato and Korone are not going to be at Seventh Fest,
Mm-hmm.
probably due to their own situations. So makes sense.
Yeah.
No flips this year, my dude. Sorry.
Yeah. A lot of people kind of obviously getting into their, own pacings. They have their own stuff, and it can't always be like, take care of everything, all the concerts all at once, right? So
What else? When did Flow Glow 3D come out? A while ago, right?
I have no idea.
Yeah, as expected, VV has the best one by far. Yeah,
Okay.
you guys know who Kikirara VV? Hell yeah. Oh yeah,
Anything else?
someone died.
Okay.
Okay.
Gentle Donna died. How dare you, Spire? This guy doesn't know.
Oh yeah, Gentle Donna. No, I have the news on that. What the? No, I saw that.
Oh yeah, you sure?
Yeah,
Then what? Then did you? You ready? Have you been watching Cinderella Grey? I bet you haven't been watching Cinderella Grey.
I have not,
Look
unfortunately.
at
I
this guy
should.
not watching Cinderella Grey.
Yeah. I've been too busy with the horses in the game instead of the horses in the
Are
anime,
you
so
ready for
You got
Manhattan
your
Cafe?
priorities all
Oh,
fucked up.
yeah, that is
Guy's not
actually
gonna
true. I
run.
should actually be focusing more on the anime so I don't waste money on the freaking game, to be honest.
Are you gonna even? Are you gonna even roll for Manhattan Cafe? I bet you
I
aren't.
don't,
Look at
because
this
it's
guy.
like
Look at this guy.
she's only meta for this one upcoming CM, so I'm like, there are too many banners coming up that I can't afford to waste money on Manhattan Cafe. So yeah.
Look at
But,
this guy. This guy's waiting for. This guy's waiting for Christmas. Oh, great.
Christmas over maybe, but my highest concern right now is Dober. So
This
we'll see.
guy's not even gonna talk about how two of Goldship's sons died as
Oh
well.
yeah, I think I saw that on the timeline too, but I forgot. But yeah. Anyways, anything
So
else?
Dashi died, then Manier Lazarite died in his debut race again. So that's two. Or is Auraki? Whatever. Whatever.
Yeah.
Sad.
Anything else?
It's still sad horse month.
Yeah, I
You
mean, it's like a lot of, especially around like this season, it does happen a lot,
what else?
I think.
So we went from nice natured November to what are we gonna call this December?
I have no idea.
I don't know. Is it Dotto December? Are we going with Dotto Meisho Dotto December?
Dober December.
Which Dober?
Mejiro?
This guy doesn't. No, this guy hates Meijiro Dober.
Dictus December.
Oh, Iconodictus? Hell yeah. That's a good. That's a
Okay.
good one.
Yeah. Anyways, I guess if that's it, then thank you very much, Toast. Um, as for myself, I haven't done too much other than just like the games that I usually play, plus like a lot of times, like when I am actually playing courses, it's actually like during intervals in work. So I actually don't end up playing that much when I get home. But that, real life stuff. Obviously, I'm thinking about potential near the end of the year, cleaning out some backlog, trying to play an indie game or two here and there, as I usually do, like near the end of the year for this reason or the other. But I'm also kind of busy with real life, and also I'm gonna be going to Japan for Ryukomi, Winter Comiket this year, which is also the 50th anniversary of Comiket. But for some reason, they still limited it to 2 days for like not much reason, and at the same time, they closed that. They still have East Hall closed for renovations, and for those of you who don't know, East Hall is like one of the main halls where they actually have put out all of like the Dojin booths and stuff like that. So half of like the Dojin booths. So East and West Hall are the main Dojin booths, and then South is usually the corporate booth. Sometimes it gets kind of shifted around, but that's generally how it works. And
What's
East,
gonna be the most popular series this year? Is it the horses? I bet it's the horses. Cinderella Grace pretty good.
Probably still gonna be Blue Archive, right? Like,
yeah, it's you right now. Pretty much, it's like a mix of Blue Archive and Genshin Hegemony for the most part, as far as I know.
Oh, for
It's like
Comiket?
yeah, for Comic Kid, it's pretty much just
Yeah, I
like
mean,
there are
I don't know if
blocks of like
Uma
Hoyoverse and
Musume
like
will ever
yeah.
be top for Comiket just because it's like can't really do smut of them.
I think if the entire Hoyoverse block dies off at the same time, the entire Blue block thing dies off, which is like unlikely, right? And Uma Musume continues to retain popularity, then I think it would happen. But it's like the issue is it's like the Hoyoverse block isn't just Genshin now, right? It's
yeah.
Genshin
Oh
and
yeah,
Wuthering
it's like
Waves
all
and Zin Zin Zin,
yeah,
and like
it's
all this other crap.
ZZZ,
Yeah.
HSR.
So the waves just keep on coming, and there's just so much material, and you can't. It's not like again, it's not like Blue Archive, where if Blue Archive goes, Nexon isn't gonna come in with like a Maple Story booth. Like what are we talking about, right? It's like
Yeah.
Blue Archive's gone, boom, they're gone. And but Hoyoverse just like both has a corporate booth and like a good third, a good one or two parts of an entire hall is just taken up by Hoyoverse stuff. So it's ridiculous. It's kind of hard to describe unless you actually go there. But
Well, the other problem
yeah.
is, like I was gonna say, though, is that I mean, it's also like Uma Musume is always gonna have that restriction where it's like you can't have any smut, so
Oh yeah,
you just
or like
kind of
there's
get
gonna be like these weird like things where like the owners of the horses sue people here and there, and you're
yeah.
like, what the
Well,
fuck,
that's what
man?
that's what it's always been is that it's like I think if I'm not mistaken, doesn't I think Psy Games will like try to DMCA shit for that reason.
Yeah, there will be
Um,
stuff here and there, but I mean, I think for the
yeah,
most part, like at Comic-Con at least, because you're kind of discreetly selling it physically, unless you're actually trying to sell it like on Melon Books online or wherever. If you like discreetly sell it, and you're just like, by the way, on Twitter, I have my booth, and you don't tell anybody really about like what the information is, other than the fact that you're gonna be maybe like the cover of it or something like that. The cover is just like it's I don't know. Um, t- what is it? Agnes Tachyon in like a bikini or whatever. Like that's fine. But
Look
I
at it.
think
What?
and then you can sell it.
It's not the bikini. It's what is it? The Explorer outfit? How
Yeah,
dare
yeah,
you?
yeah. I
Don't
know
you
it's
know
the.
she says the
Oh my
outfit is
god.
cold, Spire. She
Yes,
hates it.
I know what I'm talking about. But yeah, but it's like Agnes Tachyon in like a bikini outfit or something. Then like it should be fine. Like because you can still sell the actual whatever it's about discreetly at Comic Con. But it's like yeah, they're a lot more like sensitive about that stuff for whatever reason. But yeah, but that's pretty much it. Just playing that out, finishing out the rest of the year. Unfortunately, again, we had to push the episodes a few weeks forward because of that, or a few weeks to the right because of that. But we'll get it done. So that's been my 2 weeks. I guess with that, we should start off with Toast. What do you
What?
have for us?
Liar.
Oh, sorry, not toast. Dark. Excuse
Oh,
me,
you want me to
Dark.
go?
What do you have for
Well,
us?
too bad. Too
No,
bad. You've
I'm
ruined. You've
No.
ruined. You.
Sorry, Dark.
the order's ruined.
Yeah.
So I have
What a title, by the way.
yeah, I have Chichi wa Eiyuu, Haha wa Seirei, Musume no Watashi wa Tenseisha.
Yes.
Which, so dad is a hero, mom is a spirit, I'm a reincarnator. Now, before we get into anything, I
Oh
want
my
you,
God.
Spire, to guess what reincarnator means.
Just isekai, right? Isn't that what it means?
Fuck. He's too smart. He's too smart.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's what it means. This whole time, I thought it was that she was just like a spirit healer or something. No,
okay,
turns
okay.
out, yeah. Well, because it's like they're talking about their like not classes, but you know what I mean. It's like, you know,
Yeah,
dad's a
yeah,
hero,
I know,
mom's
I
spirit,
know,
like,
yeah,
I'm
yeah, yeah.
reincarnate. Yeah, I thought it would be like,
I thought initially when I saw the preview that she was just like a spirit kind of thing too, but then I was like, it says like specifically like tensei, like, you know, going on to the next life, and usually, I mean, tensei does generally mean reincarnation, but in a lot of these sorts of like anime nerd otaku contexts, it's used more often for like isekai tensei, kind of like going on
yeah,
to other world like kind of stuff. So that's why I caught on.
yeah. So, yeah, just to get that
Also,
out of
the
the way too.
abbreviation, by the way. You want to talk about how stupid the abbreviation is? Hahanoha.
Yeah, so it's
I put it
Hahanoha.
Hahanoha. Yeah, because it's like they use it as HA in the romanization, but you can also do it WA. But it's like HAHANOHA is actually the abbreviation, and you pronounce it Hahanoha. It's like because which transliterates into dad is essentially. But it's certainly a series. We
That
haven't
is
even really
him.
started with this started. So, but yeah, is this a manga original or a light novel? Well, light novel original, right?
Yes, it's a light novel.
Okay. Oh, JC staff, huh?
Yeah, so this is this is a JC Staff series. This is a I don't know. Like this is so I guess I should open with the isekai elements are really not that big of a deal in this so far. It's just mainly like the way like bookworms are. Well, actually no, sub even bookworm. It's just kind of an excuse to make her like hyper intelligent. And also with like her power, which we'll get into later.
It's like bookworm potions, all of that.
Yeah, so her parents don't know about her being isekai, which is like kind of weird because like, you know, the mom is kind of a pretty important spirit. Yeah, so this series opens up with just her dad and our main character Ellen and her dad Robel. He is kind of like very clearly incognito in a shop because he is the hero, and they overhear people telling like, you know, storybook stories about this great hero that saved them, like saved them all in a war from like the monster tempest, which seems to just have been like an event where a bunch of monsters just like showed up and wreaked havoc. And so his daughter is kind of like, well, like, yeah, and you know, they established that he hasn't been seen in 10 years. And so she's kind of like, well, why aren't you going home? And so long story short, he just kind of doesn't want to.
Right.
And during this monster tempest, he was injured, and his guardian spirit Origin saved his life, who he fought with. And then she brought him back to the spirit world, where they then got married and had Ellen. And so no one knows that this happened yet. And until the first episode where he kind of outs himself. And then Ellen forces him to like deal with his worldly affairs, so to speak. Because he is now also half spirit, having spent so much time and being healed in the spirit world. What that means is effectively like he does not age and has like extremely what would you call it? Like, it's not really like omnipotence, but he has like a lot of different powers, to say the least. A lot of different magics.
It's a pretty standard like being OP, right? Like
Yeah.
for the most part, yeah.
On top of the fact that he was like already had been like blessed by spirits to begin with.
Mhm.
So not to get like too into it, this show kind of goes into like mini arcs and stuff like that. Where the first sort of mini arc is him dealing with this woman who had tried to marry him originally before he had left. I believe it is the daughter of the current king. Was like obsessed with
Okay.
him, and then after he disappeared, she wound up marrying his brother. And his brother obviously like does not like that because the way they draw this woman is like a fucking like I don't even know how to describe it. It's like a children's cartoon style like villainous character. I'll post it in there. Like that's what she looks like. And she's like extremely fat. And obviously like she's blatantly like, you know, greedy, hoards like the wealth of the people and spends it on herself. So on and so forth. She's like a fucking villain from like Phoenix Wright, realistically, like what the way she looks. But yeah, so
Bruh.
the main arc the main arc is
Bruh.
kind of like trying to get his brother out of this marriage. Realistically. And so they do a little bit of scheming. They wind up getting the divorce, so on and so forth. And the bigger plunge right now appears to be the crown prince finding out about the about Ellen and Rovel's wife being Origin. Like, and Origin is effectively like a god almost. Like,
Mhm.
that is kind of like the level of spirit that she's on. And yeah, so I feel like the series is going to wind up just doing sort of like mini arcs in that way, where it's just going to keep up with different characters over and over again of just like, you know, here's like this like fallout in the last like 10 years that he had been gone. Because it's kind of like what the Crown Prince thing is doing too.
Right.
But yeah, apparently like there's gonna be like the Crown Prince wants like his son to meet Ellen, and I would assume them doing like an arranged marriage out of convenience. And it's the usual like statecraft thing where the Crown Prince wants wants to be related through like marriage to like, you know, this great hero politically.
Right.
And so he a bit of a schemer, and also the fact that apparently like the crown family has been abandoned by spirits. Now I don't really know where they're going to go with that plot line of them having been abandoned by spirits, because it seems to have already been explained that it was just them like kind of abusing calling on spirits in battle and such, of just like constantly calling on spirits over and over again with no like real reverence for them. So I don't know if they're really going to go any further with that or do anything else. I would hope that they get a little bit more creative with it, but a lot of things in this series are fairly standard.
I will say though that the overarching plot has to do with their relationship with the spirits, so you'll get your answer.
Okay. Cool. So yeah, so like that part's usually pretty fine, but everything is pretty standard. The only thing I haven't really mentioned yet, and it's just mostly because it hasn't really come into play. Like it's come into play, but it's not that important, shockingly, compared to how like strong it is that Ellen, as being an isekai individual, has all of her memories of being like, I guess she would have been like a what would you have said she was? Like maybe like a chem scientist or something?
She's in
Pharmacist, kind
her.
of? Pharmacist?
She's,
No, not a pharmacist. Like more like hard
power
elemental
is-
like chemistry.
her power is that she memorized the entire periodic table spire.
Yeah.
Probably
She has like
research, clinical
yeah,
research.
she's
or
like
something
a
like that, right?
yeah, something like that. It's like a lot of like periodic table stuff. like elements and build up of like like atomic structures, crystal structures, stuff like that.
Do you think she
Um,
could make math? So she's a science teacher.
Yeah, effectively. But yeah, so she uses that like knowledge to um manipulate matter basically, and she can just like do, pretty much like alchemy and create just like gold and other elements out of
So
effectively
an
nothing.
alchemist. That's the word.
Yeah,
then.
she's pretty much an alchemist, but like giga powerful. To the point where
A full metal alchemist.
what is it? She winds up was it her father and mother in like I think the first episode or second episode, so it's like barely a spoiler, get remarried in the human world. And she on the spot forges them silver rings with like a diamond inlay. Um and yeah, so like that, but that doesn't really come into like use yet. Like she's used it for things, but it's not like a major plot point. I think it's just kind of being used right now just to keep it secret from the other people. So that, they don't like crash economies or like get too powerful. But yeah. Even that, like I said, is like pretty like basic isekai stuff in that regards. As far as the world goes, it's a pretty standard fantasy world. What I do appreciate so far, at least, is that they are not doing RPG element stuff. They kind of
like
just go
screen status
into
screen shit? Yeah.
yeah, no, it's just like pure fantasy right now. Like at the very
Yeah,
least, like
yeah.
and I don't think they're gonna go beyond that,
Mm-hmm.
because they've done a lot of fantasy stuff.
Okay. Can
yeah,
I ask what's the sort of focus? What's the sort of focus on of the series? Is it mainly just like exploring like the powers of the world, or like what's
kind
going
of
on?
like dealing again. It's mostly so far dealing with the fallout of the father being gone for 10 years. And in between that, the like real bread and butter of the series, which I enjoy enough, is kind of like all of the characters doting on Ellen. There's like a butler character and the mother-in-law character that immediately like, fall in love and are like, because Rovel's father fell in battle, so the butler is like is basically like, you could call me grandpa whenever you want. And there's a lot of like cute scenes of them like spoiling her. But yeah, a lot of some of the other cruxes is kind of like Ellen and Roville, both like kind of deceiving each other in certain ways, of like him trying to play off certain things to get her to like not really like behave, but like to sort of try to keep things stable without like involving her, because he knows she'll like get more involved. But that usually like doesn't really work, obviously,
So
because she is
essentially
like
trying to stop her
isekai.
from like going off into like her like random whatever, she
Yeah, but
getting into
usually,
things, right?
yeah, at least so far, she kind of winds up resolving things anyway. And same thing with the mother. But it's the typical thing of like, oh, I feel like this is my responsibility.
Right.
But yeah, other than that, pretty standard so far. It's definitely something I'm going to keep up with. As I said, this is JC staff, so this is also a light novel original. But yeah, I think it's big benefit. It largely benefits from the isekai stuff being pretty light. Not having like RPG element world building is definitely beneficial. But yeah, I will say one of the unfortunate parts is the audiovisuals are like relatively unremarkable. It is JC staff, but it's not like it's actually not like terrible, especially for JC staff, but it's also not like anything to write home about. Like I would not say like these are a cut above anything, but it's also not that detrimental because it's not like the series has like action in it so far.
Here's
It's
you said
definitely a
JC
lot more
staff,
fun.
right?
Yes.
Here's the big question: is it better than One Punch Man season 3?
From what I've seen from One Punch Man season 3, yes.
So you're saying that they put more effort into this than One Punch Man season 3? Is that what we're getting at?
Sorry, what did you say?
You're saying they put more into this than in One Punch Man season 3?
I mean, I don't know if they have to put more, is the thing. I think One Punch Man season 3 is just a product of its design, really.
Didn't you hear? It was like
Yeah.
what, episode 8? We finally got some animation.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
I think
speaking of One Punch Man season 3, near, you seen it?
No,
What?
I
You
don't,
didn't enjoy the fight between Flashy Flash and the other the ninjas guys?
bro. I didn't like One Punch Man season 1. Like,
I think it's also the production quality timelines are a little bit different, right? Or the production timelines to make comparisons for the quality is a little bit of an apples and oranges thing because the biggest issue with I mean, like Hahanoha is just like a flat JC staff kind of series, right? And you're like, oh, okay, like they're just gonna put the standard amount of like isekai budget into it, especially for like a more niche series such as this. Um, and I mean, even White Fox and stuff like that does that, right? But in terms of like One Punch Man, the issue was that
You see
season
that thing I
one.
just posted? Isn't it pretty
Yeah,
cool?
so I really think
Yeah.
What?
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
oh, classic, the cutoff, yeah.
I see. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think
But
one of the
yeah.
one of the big problems is more so that it's like One Punch Man is like such a action heavy like series that it's like it's way more noticeable.
Mhm.
But I will say too, it's like JC Staff also has never spent money on One Punch Man for some reason, which is like kind of crazy. Because like I said,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
One
yeah.
Punch Man, I think season 2 came out either before or around the time of like Railgun and like or one of the Railgun series, I think season 3, and it's
It
like
was a little bit before. Yeah.
yeah, and it's like I love Railgun, don't get me wrong, and that is definitely an important series for JC Staff, but like I was like I really didn't expect like this series to be relatively fine. And then like what they choose to spend money on is like very fucking weird. Cuz like
Yeah,
they
yeah,
didn't
yeah.
like cuz even before the BDs like Index season 3 was really bad. But still not as bad as One Punch Man. So it's like, that was always very strange. But this is not at least so far this is not nearly as egregious as One Punch Man. So,
Okay.
yeah. So
Uh,
not terrible though. The OP and ED, the OP, the ED is
yes.
pretty okay and like kind of like storybookish. The OP is kind of not really much to write home about.
Mm-hmm.
Is a track called Maho by Kaho. I don't know that artist personally, but I will say the song is kind of atrocious in my opinion. Um, it's kind of way too fast and way too wordy lyrically. So
Mhm.
not sure what's going on with that. Not a fan. It's kind of like a pretty fairly standard OP, all things considered.
Mm. Okay.
Try to,
What about
I
the
don't really
ending?
because no, yeah, like I said, the ED is like pretty cozy.
Oh,
It's like
yeah.
a storybookish type thing of
Mm-hmm.
kind of like going through the 10 years ish of Ellen growing up, or the 8 years of Ellen growing up in the spirit world and shit like that. So it's
Okay.
like cozy. The series overall is like pretty, but also not particularly amazing. Like,
Mm-hmm.
so. Not not terribly awful, but kind of what I expected, really. Better, well, it could be worse, to say the least. It's which makes it better than expected. Yeah, I think
Oh,
that's about it. About all I really got to say about
okay.
it, to be honest.
I guess then what would you give it Mal rating wise?
So since I mean, I think this for me is like a true 5 in that I
Oh, okay.
it's one of those things where it's like I couldn't really recommend it to be like, oh, you should watch it this season. Maybe like a 6 because it's not. Yeah, like a 6-ish because it's not like
Mhm.
bad. But I'm also not like, oh, you should check this out, right?
Right.
I think it's like pretty whatever. Um, you could like kind of take it or leave it. Like if you don't really have much else to really go on this season, you could check it out. Or if you think like these sorts of gimmicks really like are something you enjoy enough.
Mhm.
But as far as like, as far as actually like checking the series out goes, it's like but yeah. So yeah, like a 6.
Okay,
And
okay,
it's got a
okay.
6.7 on Mal. But I think that's a little
That's
high. I mean, it's not like I guess that's like not terribly high for Mal standards, but for like a perfectly fine series, but I think
mhm.
that's like kind of high.
I'm just surprised that you gave it like a higher rating than I would have expected, to be honest. Especially since I'm not sure. Like you definitely like Bookworm and stuff like that a little bit better, right? So I was like, I thought this would be
Oh,
definitely like
100%. But
in the
like
5 or
Bookworm for me
below.
is like an
Yeah,
8, right? Like I think
yeah,
Bookworm's
yeah,
like
yeah,
something like
yeah.
you should check out because it's very
Yeah,
fun
okay,
and
okay, okay.
very cozy.
Yeah. Okay. Pretty good. All right, then. Well, thank you very much, Dark. And Dark, excuse me, covered my dad is a hero, mom is a spirit, and I'm a reincarnated, also known as Chichi wa Eiyuu, haha wa Seirei, musume no watashi wa Tenseisha. So,
Oh
the
yeah, my dad works at Nintendo.
yeah, that's true. But yeah, the abbreviation for this is Hahanoha, which is my mother is. Sorry, I think I blanked out the last time I said dad is for whatever reason, but it's mom is. Excuse me, Hahanoha. But yeah, it's a light novel original. Got adapted into anime by none other than the lovely JC staff. So if you want a decently solid isekai for this season, please do check it out. All right, next on the list here for real this time. Toast. What do you have
Huh?
for us?
Uh, uh, you like fish?
I mean, I do, but
Oh yeah, what's your favorite fish? Name 3 fish.
uh, beltfish. I want to say pollock and tuna.
Oh, we call it espada.
So where is this going, Toast?
Evil recruit. Let's rule the world with farts. No thanks. I'm not interested in that.
All
Live
right.
2D. Wait a minute. Nope. No thanks. I saw that live 2D.
All right.
Uh,
Well, if you want me to.
you guys ever drowned before?
Almost. Yeah.
Almost, yeah.
Yeah. Isn't it fun?
No, not
No, it's
No,
particularly.
not.
not
Oh, it
really.
Fun
sucks.
experience almost drowned. I
Wouldn't
probably
recommend it,
wouldn't say it.
to be honest.
Yeah, probably not.
Yeah. Well, too bad. It
Yeah,
actually is fun.
I wouldn't say that.
Apparently, with
Yeah.
with your series, you mean?
Yeah. What the?
Okay.
You like suicidal thoughts and tendencies and depression?
Not
No.
particularly.
Too bad. It's all the
All
rage
right.
nowadays.
It's true. It's probably not a good
Manheta,
thing.
right? Manheta.
What's
That is true.
Spire? What's that one tag where it's like what's that one fetish where it's a bunch of girls like asphyxiating underwater? What's that tag?
What the fuck? I've never heard of that tag
Wow.
sort of fetish before.
Like like a group underwater asphyxiation. What are you talking about?
What are you talking
That's the
about?
one.
All right, so,
Bro,
no,
if there's like a
seriously, what
Japanese
series?
word for that, I'm gonna like.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I guess it's just the drowning tag under. I guess I don't know.
Yeah, it would probably just be drowning plus a Yuri or something like that, right?
I know
But
there was that. I know there's this one game where you played a chick, and she was like crawling through this underwater cave, and you had to hold her breath, and people really like that. I don't know. Is it a subset of Riona? I don't know.
yeah. Anyways, your
Yeah.
series is well, This Monster Wants to Eat Me by what is it? This is manga original, right? I believe.
Yeah.
The title is Watashi o Tabetai, Hito de Nashi. And abbreviation I believe is Watatabe. So what's the series? Sorry, studio I mean.
Yeah.
What studio is this?
I don't know. Studio Links.
Oh,
I have
studio.
no idea who's this.
I have not heard this studio before. Oh, they've done
Yuri
like a lot of
Yuri
more.
is my job, bro.
Oh, okay, I see.
Along with Passione. Okay.
Okay.
Omotake. Omotake. What the heck's Omotake? Omotake, you what?
No,
I'm on Wikipedia. It says Omotake Dear Sisters, but it just
no,
redirected to
no,
Yuri Yuri. What is this?
no. The only one that they've like truly worked on is Love Triangle or whatever it is called, which is
Love to Lie Angle.
yeah, Love Triangle. That's the
Oh,
only
get
one
it,
that
get
they've
it.
like fully headed.
It's like To Love Ru. To Love Ru being Torabaru. Oh, I
So
get it.
so they do have
Yeah.
like these weird so they do have experience with like these sorts of Yuri series before, right? I guess, and they're kind of moving back into it now. But
Yeah. So I brought up the depression and suicidal tendencies because the main character is named Hinako. A while back, she lost her entire family in a car crash.
mhm.
Somehow, a car crash where they all crashed into the ocean and their car exploded, but she got flung back into land and whatever.
What?
Yeah, I don't, yeah,
As you
it's
do. As
mysterious,
you
right?
do.
Like they fell off a cliff and then their car exploded, but she was somehow
You know, like in GTA when you ragdoll off the car,
What? That's
it, like
fucking
wow, that's rude.
That's
Fine.
like psychotic, man. Like
It's like in
what?
GTA, like when your car flips over and it fucking
yeah,
explodes
exactly. That's
after
what I
like.
said.
Yeah.
Or like PUBG, where you're like, and you just fly, or
So
you just
yeah,
die. Actually, in PUBG, right?
yeah,
You
she
just like
somehow ended
fly.
up on land, like, and she's heavily scarred and bloodied by that. So after
Yeah.
that, she's basically had suicidal tendencies that, like, I want to call it survivor's guilt, I guess, in a way, because she's like, why am I the only one who survived? I want to,
Mhm.
I want to die so I can be with my family and
Probably
whatever.
because she's able to tank a fucking explosion, man.
Yeah,
Yeah, it
and
sounds like
then
she's
I don't
just
know,
built different, really.
and then I don't remember if it's metaphorical or not, but she ends up like being in the ocean under the waves, and she's like, "Oh, I'm going to die." And then she gets saved by this mysterious character named Shiori Oumi. Yeah. Well,
Yeah, Shiori Omi.
yeah.
Yes.
So basically, okay. So I guess she gets dragged into like the Hinako gets dragged into the water by mysterious hair. What they
Uh,
said it was an Iso Ona. I don't know what that is. That's like a subset of. Is it a subset of a drowned woman, I guess? You know, the drowned woman yokai? Or they
Yeah.
drag
I
you?
know what you're talking about. Like the sort of like water, ghost water, kind of whatever
Yeah.
it is, like
Did
that
they
thing.
drag you
Yeah.
into the ocean with their long hair and
Yeah.
try to drown her? So, yeah, someone's trying to drown Hinako, but Shiori saves her. And it
Hmm.
turns out she's a mermaid yokai.
Who's
And
trying to drown
Hinako's
her?
like the Iso Ona, a different yokai.
Oh,
So, yeah. And then, Shiori's like, why did you save me? Like, and whatever. Or Hinako's like, why did you save me? Shiori's like, you're delicious. I wish to eat you. Whatever. And then she's like, Hinako's like, okay, so eat me. And then Shiori's like, no, you're not tasty yet. I have to ripen the meat.
I need to
Right.
groom you a little bit first.
Yeah. Okay,
I have.
wait. So can you tell us a little bit about like what she means by the whole like
Yeah, I want to
mature,
get
like
that.
ripen? Yeah.
I don't know. She says something like you smell good to yokai right now because apparently ever since the accident she's yokai been being attracted to her, I
Okay.
guess. She's like, oh, to other yokai you smell delicious, but to me you smell like a beached whale that's beginning to rot. And
Okay.
Hinako's like, damn,
It's so romantic.
that's pretty that's pretty descriptive. And she always like, oh, I must ripen the meat, and by doing so, it's because you're too depressed right now, and you wish to
Mhm.
die. So, like, and Hinako's like, I want to be eaten, I want to die, and she always like, no, you will not. I will not. I will eat you, but not yet. Right now, I will eat you when you are happiest. That is when your flesh is ripe or whatever. Kind of like,
Yeah,
I guess,
yeah,
kind of like a
Sounds like she
persimmon.
should probably kill this thing.
Kind of like a
yeah.
persimmon where it's like, you have to wait a long time until the flesh is like almost like jelly before you eat it. Otherwise, if you eat it too early, it like dries out your mouth. It's tannic, right? Is that the word?
Yes.
Yeah, I guess.
I mean, because if you try to eat a persimmon too early, it like super dries out your mouth and it tastes terrible. But
Mm.
once you eat it when it's overripe, it becomes sweet and whatever and
I
jelly-like.
guess it's also the same thing as like a banana, right? Or whatever.
No, because I like to eat my bananas before they're overripe. Some when they're a little bit green but not too yellow
Yeah.
expire.
I
So
guess sometimes
no.
they can be used for overripe, like you can use overripe bananas for stuff,
So
but
yeah.
yeah.
So the whole thing is that Shiori is hanging out with Hinako and trying to make her happy and
Mhm.
not suicidal in order to ripen her meat before she eats her. And she does that by like being
Gay.
Yuri, lesbo,
not yet. Kind of like being her friend and like, and whatever.
essentially mentally recovering by with the help of Shiori, right?
Uh-huh.
Is that
Yeah,
sort of
kind of in a way.
Grooming.
yeah, grew.
Sure. I don't know. I like people say it's a lesbian anime. I mean, I would say not to the extent that people think it is. It's
Mhm.
definitely not a Sakura trick. Um,
Not many things are, man.
like I'm trying to think of something similar. Maybe like I'm an old head, so I want to say it's
Kanatsuki no Miko or something? Like what are you
yeah.
talking
I was
about?
gonna say yeah, like kind of like that.
Maria-sama? Like Maria-sama is watching something like that,
Yeah,
maybe?
Kazuki no
Or-
Miko, except like the characters are reversed.
Yeah.
Was it the chick
Or
named Hinako in that one too? Yeah, right.
I
The
think
Hinako
I
and
forget. Yeah.
uh, I keep confusing with Kyoshino Satora. So Satora no Sora.
Mm.
That's a yeah.
But
Oh,
yeah, a lot of it's
Himeko. Yeah, yeah.
definitely yeah.
Anyway, so
But yeah, it's definitely a lot more like an
so
older Yuri series.
so yeah. Hinako is basically super depressed throughout the entire like. I've watched like eight, 9 episodes, nine episodes. So Himiko's a super depressed one, whatever, because it's like, oh, I want to die, and Shiori is super happy-go-lucky, whatever.
Hmm.
She's trying to brighten up Hinako, like being coy, being very friendly and whatnot, and be like, oh ho ho ho, I'm going to eat you, but not yet. Let's go have fun before I eat you, and whatever. She's kind of devilish and devious, kind of like a yokai should be, and whatever. But yeah, so that's those two, I guess. And then another character that's probably important is Miko,
Red hair
who's
girl.
base yeah,
Yeah.
who's basically Hinako's classmate and childhood friend or
Uh huh.
whatever, who's always been around her, and she's super sickly sometimes, so she doesn't go to school often. And I guess she's another important character because I mean, should I spoil it? Who she is, whatever.
Yeah, go
I
for
don't
it.
know. Sure, I guess she's basically Hinako's friend before, but it turns out she's a fox deity, whatever.
Oh, okay.
So like ever since the accident, Miko's been the one that's been protecting Hinako this entire time.
Hmm.
So there's some sort of friendly rivalry between Miko and Shiori because Miko's been protecting Miko's been protecting Hinako this whole time. But every time that Miko hasn't been around Hinako, it's because she too has been feeling the hunger to eat Hinako. Because, like I said earlier, Hinako's flesh and blood attract yokai that want to eat her. So she too is affected by the hunger, and so her Miko and Shiori form this like begrudging relationship where Miko's like, I trust you to protect Hinako while I'm gone because I know you won't eat her before she's ripe, and you'll protect her. But if you ever like lay your hands on her too early, I'll kill you. So, that kind of budding rivalry and whatnot. And I guess those are like the three main characters in this series. You'll see them on the key visuals and whatnot. So yeah, overall, the people who thought this would just be a funny lesbian story, well, you guessed wrong. This is actually a pretty good series overall. It's not funny lesbians and eating. No, it's about
But I mean, I saw a
whatever.
couple of episodes of this, but it's like, or I skimmed through rather, but it's like the whole like
The Yuri part is like very little in a way. I guess there it's not.
The Yuri part isn't that like relevant to the core
They
theme of the
haven't done
series.
anything that I would actually call Yuri in
Yeah.
a way.
It's more just like the girls are being there, but it's like I wasn't impressed by how the whole like depression and like her interacting with the characters kind of panned out. You know what I mean in the series where it's like she's depressed. Okay, so where do we go from here? And then it's like, oh,
That's
it's
where the other
not.
part of the series comes in
Yeah,
fire. That's the battle part where I'm like, oh hell yeah, this is great.
the battle part. Yeah.
Because well, like I said, yokai are always trying to attack Hinako. So Shiori's the one who fights them off, and it's pretty cool. If it'd be one thing, if it's just like funny, depressed story, but no, we've got supernatural phenomenon coming in. Yeah, but it takes, and so like yeah, uh, I believe I got up to like episode 10. I haven't watched it yet, but apparently reveals why Shiori is
Yeah,
attracted to
sure.
Hinako in
Hmm.
some way, and how she's able to resist the hunger that Miko cannot. So they do have some backstory together. It's kind of
Yeah.
obvious in the way that Shiori talks to Hinako like they've met before. So whatever. But yeah, overall,
It's just that the thing is it's like usually, right, the structure of a series where a person has depression is essentially it's usually the story arc goes how do they kind of get over it, right? But it seems like this story isn't really doing that, and I'm not sure whether that's on purpose or whether that's just like the author just not being able to, like it's not within their abilities, right? So that was sort of I was a little bit confused by how the story arc kind of ended up. You know what I mean?
yeah, sure. But yeah, overall, I like this series. Pretty good. Not
What
not
would you
not,
rate it?
not enough lesbians. There's actually some pretty interesting
Actually,
character development or character relationships between Shiori and Hinako and Miko, and like how they're all affected by Hinako's blood and and the cause of it and whatever.
so a lot of like the
The cause,
supernatural stuff and the
yeah,
battle
there's a lot
stuff is
of
pretty good.
supernatural stuff in here. Like
Yeah. That's good.
if you guys know anything about mermaids, mermaid yokai, there's a specific I guess a specific story that everyone knows. Like, oh, if you capture a mermaid or you have a mermaid, like they can do this. And so there's an importance of Shiori in this series and how she's related to Hinako and Miko and cool stuff. All of that. I guess Hinako's voiced by Ueda Reina. I don't know who's that.
Yeah, some random person.
Yeah, who does she voice in Uma Musume?
I forget who she actually voices in. I keep forgetting because I should remember this, but I keep forgetting. Um,
Fired.
does she voice? I forget. I keep forgetting.
Let's see. Blah blah blah. Who are all these characters? Mecha Ude. No, I don't care.
Brother, just say she's just Miyade and fucking.
Who? Oh,
Fuck,
she's
what?
that blonde chick in Solo Leveling. Yeah, I know her.
Just say she's Miyane in Watatabe. That's like her most famous role. Just say it, brother. Oh my
No.
god.
Yeah, and
Anyways,
then Ishikawa Yui is the voice of Shiori. I mean, I mean, I know this one. She's the voice of 2B. You like 2B, Spire?
I'm okay with 2B.
He only
but,
likes English.
He's a
TV,
liar. This
actually.
liar.
He only
But
likes
yeah,
the English.
and then Miko is voiced by Firo's Eye. Name one Firo's Eye. What does she? Yeah, Firo's Eye.
Dumbbell? Literally her breakout role? Yeah.
No, she voices Yukarisu in Tojima Rider.
Ah, yes, that's true.
Guy doesn't even know that. This guy doesn't even know Firo's Eye.
And keep up with her concurrent roles.
Yeah, same season. Also, Jolin Kujo, I guess Power. Nier, do you like Power?
Yeah.
You like her poops?
Yeah.
Hell yeah. But yeah, they do. They all do a good job. Whatever. Yeah, they're good. I mean, these trio are very good at their job. I have no
Yeah.
complaints. The visuals, um, they're cool. I guess I do like the. There's throughout the entire series, there's a reoccurring theme of the ocean and water and whatnot. Get it? Because Shiori's a mermaid, and like a lot of the fights, I guess, have to do with the water. There's some cool demon hands trying to get a Hinako to the in the water from the sea because a lot of people die at sea. So there's the cool demon hands. But yeah, I mean it's pretty good. Above average, I guess. I also like the character designs. Very cool. Shiori is my usual strike zone as expected, and she's got a cool fang. So that's like 1 point. Because that's my strike zone. But yeah, overall it's pretty good. I actually like the series quite a bit. It's a lot deeper than one would think. Like, oh, what's the funny Yuri anime? No, it's pretty good.
Yeah, it's not that focused on the Yuri. It's a lot more like it's not, how do I say this? It's like a lot of Yuri is just like, oh, we're two girls. We're just looking at each other, and we're two girls, and it's that sort of like feedback loop over and over again. But they're just kind of like characters like in a cast, and they're not really like
yeah. They're trying. There's some they're trying to like to explain how depression and how to I guess how to make someone undepressed and having suicidal thoughts by being warm and nice to them. And so it's a gradual thing, but I can definitely see the honesty in this kind of work. The soundtrack is made by Keiji Inai. I don't know who that is. Gran Turismo 6 composer, okay. Burn the Witch composer, sure. Uh, Star Wars Visions, okay. Yeah, I don't know who this is. Nier, do you know who this is?
Really?
I don't know who this is. Heavy Object, magical girl site. Uh, maybe Kenichi. I guess Kenichi can count. That's like the only one I know. Sure. Gravity Rush 2. Okay. But yeah, overall the series is pretty good. Don't knock it until you try it. It's not the Yuri series. It's something a little bit more than that. Overall,
Mhm.
I would say it's a fairly decent watch. Oh, the opening and ending. There's actually two endings to this. Yeah.
So it's like an episode 1 ending and then
No,
the rest of the
there's an
episodes.
episode 4 ending because that has to do
Oh,
with
okay,
Miko.
okay. Okay, interesting.
So yeah, the opening is Neo
Yeah.
by
Yeah.
Yoshino
Mhm.
and Lily. And the ending is Lily, which is sang by Ueda,
Uh-huh.
which is pretty good. I mean, Ueda is pretty good. And then the second ED is Taiyo Nate Ageoka, I guess,
Mhm.
by Fyro's Eye, who voices Miko. And it's because Hinako compares Miko to like being the sun because
Yep.
she's super, happy and bubbling, and is Hinako's best friend, even though Hinako's like this super depressed chick. But
Yeah.
I guess,
Yeah, so
yeah.
the title transliterated means shall I become your son, essentially.
Ah, I
So
get it. What is this? Did you watch the summer Hikaru died?
Yeah.
You read it.
she literally reviewed it,
How,
yeah.
how ho- how homosexual was it again? Very.
Extremely.
Like very.
Well, has less of that. They're just
I think that's not a that's not
that's
that's
the bonus,
a
Nair.
it's a pretty high hurdle to clear the level
Yeah.
of whatever was
Yeah,
going on.
but yeah, overall, I actually like the series quite a bit. Yeah. I'll give it a solid 8 out of 10 with no points. Yeah, it's pretty good. I like it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's 7.27 on Mall. That's a pretty high score, and as expected. Yeah, they know what's up. Yeah.
All
So
right.
overall, yeah, I recommend this. I'm gonna keep watching it. Hell yeah.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Toast, for covering this series. This is Watatabe, also known as This Monster
Oh
That
shit!
Wants to
Hold
Eat.
on,
Yes.
hold on. If I were compare, if I it's I have to compare it to something. It's it's better
Callouts.
than. mm,
You already compared it to
mm,
Kanatsuki no Miko, right?
no, that's unfair. I had to compare it to a similar series. It's better. What other series have
Okay.
mermaids in it? Uh,
What
There's like
about?
one other series,
Oh,
but
well, I
that's like
just
a
thought the
rom-com
mermaid one.
series.
What was that? Wasn't there another like weird like Menheta Yuri-ish series like a couple of years ago?
Sakura Track.
No, no, it was something else.
I don't know.
Yeah. There's
But it
the only other anime that I can think of is Seto no Hanayome with the
that's
mermaid.
let's see. It's better than Bermuda Triangle. Screw that. Better than
Okay.
yeah. Bermuda Triangle Colorful Pastrale. I've watched that. It sucks.
All
Wait,
right. Anyways. All right.
but it's not better than Seto no Hanayome. That's a classic.
Yeah, Seto
All
no
right.
Hanayome is a lot of a high hurdle. But anyways, thank you very much, Toast. Moving on, but it is This Monster Wants to Eat Me, manga original, adapted by Studio Lings, also known as Watashi Tabete Hito de Nashi. So if you want to check out a Yuri series this season, please do check this out. All right. I'm going to be taking point on the next one here. And it is one of the ones that were a little bit more on the front line, a little bit more floating around on social media before the season hit. And it was called Chitose is in the Ramune bottle, also known as Chitose-kun or Ramune bin no Naka. Also abbreviated as Chiramune. So this is a Studio Feel series, or adapted by Studio Feel. And the original is, I believe, a light novel original. It was published by Shugakukan. And the story is by Hiromu. This is their first work, I believe, and illustrated by Reims. So, uh, Studio Feel, just going back to Studio Feel for the anime adaptation, you guys know Feel is a very relatively famous studio, right? You guys know them for their work on stuff like the Capo, Yosuke no
The
Sora,
Kappa, wow, that's a throwback.
yeah, Minamike, Ora ga iru, Konobi, Tsuki ga kirei, a lot of these stuff. Last season, or a couple of seasons back, they did, previous seasons they did Spy Classroom and Summer Pockets. That's their more recent stuff.
Yo,
And
Shikabane
this,
Hime? Hell yeah, this studio feels classic now.
yeah, and this season they're doing a combination of this one and Chanto Suenai Kyuketsuki-chan. Right, Little Miss Vampire Can't Suck Right, I believe, is the transliterary
Arctic
title
one?
here.
Yeah, right.
So, Feel Studio is multitasking a little bit for both, but I think they've done pretty decently in terms of audio visuals on both series, so that's pretty good. In terms of the cast, or in terms of the staff, rather, the producer Takikasaki Makoto, alongside I want to say an up and comer director in Tokuno Yuji, which he has some decent experience with stuff like storyboarding and episode direction, but this is, I think, his first full directorial debut. So it is interesting that they are giving him this role while having a lot of money backing this project. So, but the two brings together a very, very heavily experienced team from here and there to form the project team for Chiramune. They brought a decent amount of people from outside the studio, but in general, if you just look through the names, um, excuse me, Arakawa Naruhisa, what is it? Music done by Fuchisa Yoshiaki. He did stuff like Love Live, I think. I forget if he did like some ReZero stuff. There's just like a lot of things that he did. I think he did some like Yuri stuff and a lot of rom-com stuff as well. A lot of these, Kinoshite Sumie, a lot of these people are quite experienced at what they do, are very heavy veterans. So they brought those together to form this very relatively trusty engine for the project team. The Seiyu, the voice acting cast, is almost just as heavily experienced. It has a lot of big names, a decent amount of younger, sort of recent, I want to say B A-listers, right? Out of these, so obviously you have Monica Yomi, who did, I believe, Rise Shower, and then I believe her more famous role, right, is, excuse me, Akane Kurosawa in what is it? In Oshinoko, right? And I believe she did one other role, but I think she did Misaki Aoba in Idolmaster as well. You have, Hanzai Chika, obviously extremely famous, Kosuka Reina and Hibiki Euphonium. Yomiya Hina, very much like rising star here in the past couple of years. She did Shinju Inui Shinju in Beast Doll, as well as Osana Yuki, more recently in Shoshimin. You have Hasegawa Ikumi. I don't think I need to really mention her, right? She did Kita and Bocchi the Rock. And Okubo Rumi, obviously Mihono Bourbon, Musume, as well as she did, I think, a couple other roles. I keep forgetting. I'm very bad at this. I apologize, but yeah. So oh yeah, she did Memcho and Oshinoko. And I believe Chinatsu is probably her most famous role. Chinatsu Yoshikawa and Yuru Yuri. So a lot of big heavy hitters. I would say probably the least famous out of these is actually generally the male two members. So we have Sakato Shogo, who has a decent amount of roles, and then we have, I think, Masai Miyazaki, who I think has done one like Idolmaster male side role, but is like pretty much a newcomer otherwise. So pretty much composed of just as many veterans and heavy hitters as the staff, which is definitely promising. Going on to the OPED and the audio visuals here. The opening is Liar by Kuchi. So Kuchi is a J-pop, J-rock singer-songwriter from Nagoya. I believe she's quite young, born in 2004-ish, if I remember correctly, from her wiki page. The vocals are very good. The composition kind of is pretty good and matches her energy. Pretty reminiscent of kind of 2000s, 2010s J-rock here. And in terms of the storyboarding, while I want to say the storyboarding is average to slightly above average in terms of just design and structure, the quality is just like super solid overall. I want to say, comparing to most of the other openings that I've like seen and scrolled through, it's probably top two openings of the season overall. I think the only opening that the Chitose-kun opening would lose to is probably the Sanda opening. But other than that, I think all the other openings are just like definitely like hit like a level below the Chitose-kun opening. So pretty good opening overall, and I would almost like definitely be able to put it up for like season contender. The ending theme is Kagero by Cider Girl. For those of you who don't know, Cider Girl is a J-rock band out of Tokyo. They also did, I believe, Cinderella, which is the opening for Komi-san. Overall, again, another one with pretty good vocals and composition, as well as pretty good storyboarding. Honestly, the way the ending's quality and storyboarding is, the ending for Chitose-kun is better than most openings this season, which is kind of sad, but you know, it's just the truth. The quality of both the opening and the ED in terms of like the actual design, the frames, the animations are way better than like pretty much all of the other openings and endings this season. Just straight up. It's kind of you know, it's pretty whack. In terms of like the overall episodes, the BGM is pretty solid. I think the visuals overall keep their quality throughout the episodes, and it's on. I wouldn't say it's like on parity necessarily with the opening, in terms of like animations, but like the static design, the static models, the in betweens, the stills, keep their quality pretty well. Although obviously, again, you have to consider that it is a slice of life series and not a constantly moving around action battle kind of series, right? So they have some of that, but the character designs, the static models, the in betweens, the stills are all pretty decently done. But there are some slight portions where there are like some non-important scenes, some of the supporting cast, stuff like that. And some scenes where the protagonists or like the harem aren't like fully in focus. Those tend to be a little bit more obviously budget, like kind of like not a full sore thumb, but it's just like, oh, they clearly just like didn't really put any money into this kind of business. But the other parts are almost like when they do have the protagonists and the girls in the harem in full focus, it is like they almost try to do these like weird Akiyuki Shimbo, like Shimbo Akiyuki kind of like level cuts, where they're like cutting to the mouth, like the person is saying something, right? It's like a phrase, and it's like does like a slow zoom into the mouth or to the eyes or like to like random place, like some random tower or whatever, stuff like that. There's like a very like weird like Shaft-esque like homage almost like to some of these cuts, and it's an interesting choice certainly, but it's definitely not low quality. So I do appreciate at least the level of quality that they maintain throughout the episodes. So that's it for the audio visuals. I would say it's probably top notch compared to again most of the other series in this season. I think very few top it outside of again something like Asanda. So that's that. In terms of the story, and this is where things get a little bit ugly. So the general story is you have this protagonist, Chitose-saku, and Chitose-saku is just like your ideal ubermensch, perfect guy, jock, the hot like number one in the school, does sports, is smart, max with all the girls. Obviously, isn't like a lecturer or anything like that, but like he gets all the ladies. He has the riz, all that stuff. He has a lot of really good friends. Blah 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 blah. And then it's essentially you have these mini arcs in the anime about him kind of seeing all these people outside of his like kind of direct network, or even sometimes within his direct network, where it's not, things aren't, as perfect as he would like, for instance, his life and his network to be, right? There are people outside of his network, or people that are sometimes related to his network, that sometimes have these like mental issues with dealing with either him or not being, super popular or super cool like him, So they have issues, and he gets kind of wrapped up in these like problems, and he kind of needs to solve them. So it is somewhat similar in structure to something like Oregairu, right? But the difference is, obviously, instead of in Oregairu, where Hachiman is sort of the loner, he's like, everybody's like, oh, get out of here. He's just like some weirdo, and then the weirdo kind of comes in and solves the problems, right? Which is a little bit more power fantasy setting. The author for Chitose-kun tried to make a variant where the protagonist is the obvious, like, oh, I'm the jock, I'm the popular dude, I'm already with the girls, I've got everything straightened out. But with that, he has to solve the problems where it's like everybody's like hating on him constantly. He's just like, oh man, all he does is like just like, he has his harem and he has his life all settled. He was that way, ever since he was born. You know, I'll I'll never be like him. He's so, like, all this jealousy, whatever stuff like that, or all these other like matters related to him and his harem or whatever, right? And he has to solve these problems, right? From the perspective of being a jock, from being the popular guy at the school, right? So that's sort of the variant the author tries to spin. Um, and my thoughts on the story and just kind of generally kind of how it's structured is a couple of bullet points. And first, I just want to say, and I speak as a person who is, I think, out of everybody here, Toast included, I think I'm the most tolerant of harem series, like the general harem, like tool, like, right, the subgenre, literary device, whatever, and how it's used slash weaponized slash whatever, right? And even as that sort of person, I think I'm really not a fan of how the harem aspect is kind of shoehorned in here. And in Chitose-kun, it's a lot um like, yes, the premise is that the protagonist is popular and he's already kind of got his fingers in the various jars, right? And he's macking on all the girls, and like all these four however many different girls are like him a lot, right? And have a crush on him or whatever. But the way it's like structured, it doesn't feel like that premise is like a thing. You know what I mean? It's just like, it really just feels like the way the harem is set up is just like, oh, they just, the harem is set up because the author just likes harem, or the author just thinks, oh, harem is just like a popular thing, so I think this story should have harem, which is really annoying because I think if the way I kind of think about it is like, and this is sort of why harem stories tend to fall into these tropes where you you kind of nab each girl, right, by saving their metaphorical cat, right, from a tree, and being like saving them, rescuing them from something, or helping them with X, Y, Z things, right? And then you get each girl one at a time. I apologize for using object related terms, but that's sort of what happens, right? But the whole point is like you have to show that the character kind of like did something or is a person where there's like a reason for all these like characters to kind of like him, right? Especially when it's not a situation like in Japanese anime, you have a protagonist who's just like relatively plain black hair protagonist, obviously partly for self-insert purposes, but then all these girls just like magically fall in love with him, right? And it's not even just like an aesthetics thing. They have to show the story often, the anime often has to show that there's some sort of personality related reason, right? Because obviously you're not gonna have an anime character look like, uh, you know, fucking Tom Cruise or whatever, right? And then and that's the reason why all the girls like him or whatever it is, right? So the reason has to be a little bit more, but it doesn't really show that. So it kind of just feels like the harem at that point where the protagonist just lands in is the harem is just being shoehorned in because the author again likes harem or thinks just the harem series is popular or whatever it is, right? So I really don't like that part of this series. And again, I say this as a person who is extremely tolerant of the harem structure in general, in anime, manga, whatever. The second part of this is that and this kind of is like a general point, I guess I want to say, is that the characters are supremely unrealistic in a premise where it needs to be as realistic as possible. So this whole like premise is something that is starting to be explored more and more and more, right? And not just like Oregairu and all that fucking bullshit, because I hate Oregairu, but something like lookism, right, will probably be the most famous example, where you're talking about like how does society treat people when they're nerds versus jocks, when they're ugly versus not ugly, and it's like, is it real like the popularity is that just like you just got to win the genetic lottery, or like do you have to work hard, or like perception versus whatever versus reality versus what are people actually suffering, all this sort of stuff, right? And that requires a very gentle, smooth, realistic kind of guidance from the author, because these are very real topics, and a lot of people who are reading these sorts of series have experienced those very same thoughts and feelings and experiences, right? But this author does a pretty fucking terrible job of doing it because of at least a couple of reasons. The first obvious reason is that all these characters are too, like all the protagonists and stuff like that are just too kind, right? And like in general, people are okay with like helping other people in real life, but it's a lot of it's just like, I'm gonna spend like a week like helping you out, and then I'm gonna always be there for you, my guy. Like there's a lot of these sorts of like situations where it's like, oh, the protagonist just like did everything perfectly and solved this social situation, just like without like any blemishes to his record or something like that. And it's a very like there's nothing negative about the protagonist's personality, stuff like that, and it's very like not a thing that people would really experience or recognize in real life. And then all the girls are like that too, and it's just like part of the solution process for the mini arc seemed to be, oh, this like mental problem's happening, and like the problem itself is relatively realistic, right? Somebody's getting bullied, or there's like a stalker, or whatever it is, right? But then the solution process is just like, I will be super positive, and I will work very hard, and it's just like, no, that's not really like that's not always how it gets solved in real life, right? And then leading on from that, I think the the bigger issue is that I think the author just does not have knowledge of how a lot of these social interactions work in real life. I think it is very obvious that this author lived a relatively regular school life or lived a kind of isolated school life, but was never in like kind of has never interacted in a setting with these like nerds and jocks and having to do the whole like, oh, you're popular versus I'm not. I'm like maybe like a nerdy or recluse or fat or whatever it is, right? Ugly, whatever. This, that, and the other. I can't get the girlfriend. You can get the girlfriend. All that shit, right? And the reason why I know that is because this author tries to kind of cast this paradigm as like, and the variant, right, of this paradigm as like nice versus not nice. And it was a very similar pattern with Origairu too, right? Where it was like, with Origairu, it was like the nerds and the weirdos were actually the ones that ended up being nice and the ones that will find out the truth right behind the matter. And the jocks and the idiots were the ones, and the Ryujus and whatever were the ones that were stupid, and we had to defeat them. And this author said, okay, well, let me put a variant on that. What if the jocks actually were nice, but then the nerds, kind of had a misunderstanding, and then the jocks kind of had to resolve that misunderstanding. But what I want to say is that this paradigm is just completely wrong. And they would know that if they had interacted in society at all, like in school or society with these sorts of people, where it's not about the whole nice and not nice thing. I think at least with my personal experience, with some exceptions, most people at least are willing to somewhat lend a hand, right? Especially if they're in the eyes of their peers or whatever it is, right? Or something with regards to something small or whatever it is, right? And there's nobody that's like, I'm going to be an asshole, like inherently, right? Like they have a lot of these like personality quirks that kind of lead into it, but there are not many people in this world that are just like, I will fuck you, fuck your mom. It's like, that's not how this world works, right? But the important part of this, and which is what kind of distinguishes the whole like helps define the whole like nerd versus jock paradigm, I want to say interaction, whatever, is that people just don't care enough. In the real world, people just don't care that much. And this is also what I tell, some of my junior people, some of the people that, work for me, whatever, when they're setting up for presentations, an important thing is you don't have to be worried about making mistakes in presentations or pausing in presentations because nobody gives a shit. Nobody really cares that much about your presentation. Like, calm down, bro. You're not that important. And that's just how it is with all these nerds versus jocks versus whatever, where it's not that the jocks are necessarily like, it's not like that Spider-Man, like those older like Spider-Man movie scenes where they're, Peter Parker is getting shoved into the locker kind of thing. It's just, they don't care. They will just brush past you, and they'll just say something like, oh, whatever, this guy just blah blah blah. And they'll ignore the nerd, and that'll really be sort of the thing that hurts people, right? It's the banality of evil, the banality of cruelty, where it's just like people just get ignored, people just get isolated. Oh, whatever, like just brush that guy aside, blah blah. and the jocks and the popular kids and the valedictorians and the prom queens, the prom kings will just go on living their lives, and they're just doing their thing and partying, and all the nerds will be. That's the real sort of like dichotomy that comes out, and not this whole like anime. Oh, the jocks are not nice versus the nerds are actually really nice inside. That's a very like I don't know. It's a very like it's a very exaggerated paradigm that I think I don't really know. I think it just gets like because there are certain cases of it, but I think that sort of paradigm gets exaggerated. And because that sort of paradigm is so accentuated in Chiramune, in places like Oregairu, whatever, I think it just becomes like this doesn't feel realistic at all. Because in real life, people don't care this much. People don't go like, oh, I'm a kind jock. I will help this nerd. That's not what happens. They just brush past by his side. Or it's not like Oregairu where it's like, or some of the mob cast members of Chiramune where they're like, I'm a jock, or I'm a Yankee, I'm a hooligan. I'll fuck your shit up. It's not like that. They just don't care. Like they don't fucking care. And this inability of the Oregairu author, this inability of the Chiramune author to understand that is very unfortunate and really dulls their storytelling and makes it almost distasteful, I want to say. It's very unfortunate because I think this premise is, or not premise, this theme of like, okay, like, but what if maybe a jock was occasionally paid attention enough to somebody like a nerd or whatever, enough to lend a hand, right? We'll be the sort of like interactions that result from that, and then have like the cast slowly built. I think that'll be an interesting premise, but that's not what this story is. That's not what Oregairu is. It always has to be this dichotomy of like the evil, the asshole, the whatever, the popular jocks that just want to flex and ruin your life versus the nerds that are so sincere and whatever, blah blah blah. It always has to be this like whack ass extreme dichotomy, and I just don't think that's interesting in the year 2025 going into 2026. It just sucks. It's boring. It's not representative of real world, and that not being representative of the real world is important in this case because this is a very close to real life premise and theme and series. So, very disappointing, I think, overall. And I like as I was watching this, I was just like, I the author has never been in like a school setting before or something, because else you wouldn't write like this. You just wouldn't write like this. I don't understand. Like the author had to have been in a private school or something. It's very weird.
Have you ever considered he watched Grease,
Have you ever
1978?
Yeah. Have you ever considered that he traveled forward in time when he was a kid and watched Oregairu and then went back and
Oh,
he was
shit.
like, "I'll do it better."
I'll do better, but then he procrastinated way too long, and then Oregairu came out, and he was like, "Fuck, shit."
Yeah. But
I guess I'll
like,
write it anyway.
you kind of understand what I'm talking about, though, right? Where it's like it's not like the whole like nerds versus jocks versus whatever thing. At least from all the stuff that I've experienced, and even not just in school, but in society, in like workplaces, right? It's not about nice versus assholes. Although obviously there are some extremely nice people, and there are also pretty persistent assholes, right? But for the most part, people just don't care that much. It's like
Yeah, and I think also like the whole like nerds versus jocks like concept of bullying is like
yeah.
it's so like it is very like a late 90s early 2000s, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like
And
bullying,
the issue is it's
like the reality of bullying
yeah.
has gone like anybody that has like you said, anybody that has witnessed or experienced bullying knows that like it's not about like giving
pushing
a
people to
kid,
lockers.
yeah, giving a
Or
kid like a swirly or anything.
yeah,
Like
exactly.
it is, it is effectively like it is like
Ostracizing.
harassment, basically.
Yeah,
It
exactly.
is a sort of like kind of just consistent like snide remarks that make somebody kind of
Or isolation
out.
even. Yeah.
Yeah, but if it is like an active thing,
Yeah.
it is kind of just like these like little comments like that pile up to create a
Yeah.
sense of insecurity. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
not like
exactly.
this. It's not like this whole like you're stupid and I hate you and you're dumb. It's like
I will
it's like
shove you into this locker. It's
yeah,
not like
it's like little comments of like why are you so fat, or like
yeah.
yeah
And the jock might not even think much of it. He might just be
yeah
like, if when he's confronted, you'd be like, well, oh, he's just like, it's not that bad, like whatever, right?
yeah
But it is again that bad, right? And that's the thing. It's like people don't. It's not that people are like, oh, I'm a jock. When I see a nerd, I will laser onto him like white on rice and shove him into a lock. It's not. They just
yeah
don't care. Like, they don't care. So I think this was another disappointing attempt. I really wish that more authors would try this sort of premise, but I hope that unlike Oregairu, unlike Chiramune, that they would really hone in on what sort of things are like today and what actual societal interactions are, and not this again like fucking Spider-Man movie-esque like, oh no, I'm the nerd at school, now they put something into my shoes. Like, no, like fuck off. That's not that's just no. So that's sort of my thoughts on Chiramune. I think overall it's an extremely distasteful source material, story structure, um, that's only really kept up by the sheer consistent quality of its audiovisual production. Um, and I think at this point, the only score that I will give it is a 3 out of 10. And the three mostly comes from the audiovisuals. It's a very disappointing series overall. I hope the author does not continue on this track, or if he does, if they do, they do a little bit more research next time. So very disappointing. 3 out of 10. So yeah, that was Chitose-kun wa Ramune bin no Naka, also known as Chitose, is in the Ramune bottle. Again, light novel original, adapted into anime by Feel Studio. All right, last but definitely not least here, we have
that.
Nier. What wonderful series do you have to close out
Well, I mean,
our
it's not the
fall
least
2025
noteworthy.
reviews? Yeah.
Yeah, dude, you got the best series.
I don't know about that. Yeah, so I watched Towa no Yuugure, also known as
Yes.
Dusk Beyond the End of the World.
Mhm.
The PA Works original
Yes. So
of the
previously,
season.
before this, I believe they did one in summer of 2025, which is like a weird one where it's like what is it? Mikedo no Sanshimai wa Angai Choroi, also known as dealing with the Mikedo no sisters as a breeze or whatever it is. And then
Yeah.
before that, they did Food for the Soul, which I think I reviewed, right? I definitely reviewed this, right? Hibi Meshi, Hibi wa Sugire do Meshi Umashi, Food for the Soul, which was not good. I mean, the series was like okay, but it's like the character designs were very nondescript. But it was very boring overall. I think the food porn was food porn-ish, but the characters weren't very good. But they had some unfortunate stumbles before this, leading up to here. But now we have Towa no Yuugure.
Yeah. So PA Works obviously is a studio that we have quite a bit of history with on the podcast. They've done some of the best series in anime and some of the worst as well.
Yes, sir.
So yeah. Again, it's a 12 episode, technically 13 because there's a episode 0 sort of special, which I have watched. I watched. I think there's with the episode 0 included. I think there's 11 episodes out now. I got up to. So I watched 7 was 6.5. I'll say I watched 6.5.
Okay.
And I'm just gonna put it straight up front. I fucking hate this show.
Are we cooked,
I
chat?
I
Are we cooked?
really do not like this show.
Oh my god.
So I'll give a brief synopsis and then the general setup.
Uh-huh.
So it'll be, I guess, kind of easier to just kind of summarize episode 0, because that's like really where all the kind of
Is episode
setup
0 an
is.
hour or just 30
no,
minutes?
it's a 24-minute episode.
Lame.
Yeah, if it was an hour, I probably would have shot myself in the head. So episode 0 starts out in, I think it starts in the distant future of 2029, where our main character, Himegami Akira, has just lost his parents in a car crash, and he gets adopted into a family.
Hold on. How
No,
did
the car did not explode and sent him.
The car hit the Watatabe car and just like they both exploded
Yeah,
in the air.
But he loses both his parents, and then he gets adopted into this family.
Yeah.
And then he does like a time skip into like the 2030 something. I don't know. Both adults, and Akira has sort of developed feelings for his adoptive sister, Omagi Towasa. And basically the entirety of episode 0 is like a little bit of world building where they're like, yeah, the world is just like so advanced because AI is so awesome and cool. And we love AI, and AI has become so normal and so awesome and cool that it's able to, promote so much advancement. And also, Towasa is a super genius, and she has like fucking multiple businesses or some shit, and
Yeah.
she's pushing this research project to create androids, basically. And that's basically it for the world building there. And then the rest of the episode is kind of them falling in love and confessing their feelings to each other. And
You guys
going on a
aren't
date.
blood related, so
Yeah, and the AI, thank you, Grok. Like, you guys aren't blood related, so you guys should just like fuck. You guys should just like fuck like crazy style. So they're like, yes, thank you, Grok, thank you. And so they go out and they get engaged. And then Tosa continues on with her android shit. And then she gets shot.
Shot where? That's important.
In the stomach. She gets shot in the stomach.
You can live that. So not shot in the face? Okay.
It's actually one
No.
of the worst places to get shot. You actually
it's not a great.
can't live that
It's not
often.
great. It's not a great spot to get shot. But also, Akira gets shot 3 times, all in the chest.
See? He can survive that.
And that kind of comes out of nowhere. It kind of just like happens. And then the episode is like, yeah, he died, and now he woke up again, and now it's 200 years in the future, and the world has ended.
Yeah, it just like suddenly just becomes a Hitman episode or a level of Hitman at the end, and it's like, pew, 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 and it's like, what?
Yeah,
What?
and people are dead, and he's dead, and now the world has ended. And that's kind of like the hook, I guess. That's kind of what was
The railroad. Yes.
Yeah, it's supposed to like hook you, I guess, into the series and be like, wow, that's so interesting.
That's cinema, baby.
But unfortunately, the entirety of episode 0 is like a very clunky kind of setup for not only the world but also the characters, because like I don't know, it's hard to explain. It kind of just like doesn't work. Like the characters don't really feel like they're meshing at all. It's kind of just like, wow, I love you so much, and then the sister's like, I love you too. Let's get married now. And then they it just happens. Um, it doesn't feel natural. It's kind of what I'm trying to say. And then the hard like just veer into everybody's getting shot, and then he wakes up and now the world is ending. And yeah, after that,
What about the android? Yeah.
yeah, so after that he wakes up and the world ends, and then he gets sort of taken into this this tribal family, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And
Very
they're
Fallout.
yeah, so I got issues with that, but I'll get to that later. But he gets taken into this family, and then they kind of do some exposition, some lore. And not much of it is too important, except for they introduce this new government, which is the government of the entire world. So
Oh,
countries,
okay.
so nations have been abolished. There's no more nations anymore.
Oh, it's like one of those like
Um,
standard United Nations kind of setup in like Japanese in anime, right?
yeah. So there are no more nations, which I'm not really sure how that works, especially for stuff like Japan, which is like an isolated island. I don't understand how you don't have a nation state. Like how a nation state just doesn't form naturally, like just out of like just sheer culture, effectively, like a isolated whatever. Anyway, there's a world government now, and it's called OWOL, OWOL, and the main character Akira specifically notes that OWOL sounds like Orwell, and it's a little reference for you, a little subtle reference for you, of what might be to come. And also the other lore drop it gives in terms of world building is that the institution and the sort of practice of marriage is completely foreign to people. They don't know what marriage is, and instead they practice this sort of
They just copulate? Well, what's happening
they
here?
practice this thing they call Elsie, and Elsie, which is spelled EHLSEA, is effectively a sort of
Okay.
it's how do I describe this? It's a sort of like bonding between a indeterminate amount of people.
It's an
And
orgy?
it's a sort of like it is effectively just a promise to be with each other forever, right? It's not like
Okay.
it's not a necessarily romantic or
Platonic?
um or platonic or even familial thing. It is kind of just a proclamation of a general love, right?
Okay.
And I'm pretty sure love is supposed to be like the main theme of this series.
Like
Um,
forms of love, you mean?
yeah, like the different forms of love and how that manifests and how that is reciprocated and expressed and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so this is kind of interesting, right? Because it establishes like within this that Elsie can be between any amount of people, right? There's a character that says, basically her immediate family is all within an Elsie, right? Like her father, her mother, her uncle, and I think, I don't know if it's her aunt or whatever, but like their like family unit is an Elsie, right?
Mhm.
But there can be Elsie that's a sort of romantic kind of thing between just two people, or it can be three people or more. It can be between a man and a woman, or it can be all women, or a man and a man, whatever. Right? It is a sort of very free form kind of thing, but it is like a recognized like practice within like the actual like the government. It's like officially recognizes basically. And it's an interesting, I guess, piece of world building, right, for a series that's kind of trying to.
Is this like explored any sort of further the implications of this like specific structure, or like for instance like marriage, right, actually has benefits in society. I mean, obviously drawbacks, but also benefits specifically in society, right? And there are like specific rituals all like related to marriage and like whatever stuff like that. Is other than this whole like other than the general talk of Akira being like, oh, this is different from previously, and also like a base description of like, yeah, we just say that we're connected with each other. Is there like a deeper, I want to say, world building of how the structure is?
No.
Oh,
So that's
okay.
my issue with it.
Okay.
Like LC is kind of established. I'm like, huh, that's kind of interesting, but that's kind of as far as it goes.
Civil union, but not as fun. Platonic love, but not as fun.
Yeah, basically. So that's really kind of like it for the world building.
Okay.
Obviously it's post-apocalypse. There was a war. It's not really expanded upon. I'm sure it is later because this is a PA work series, so there's probably some retarded ass twist later on. But I'm gonna be honest, I couldn't stomach watching more of this. But yeah, the story goes on, and essentially the government comes in and tries to kidnap Akira because he is a relic of the past, and the new government, OAL, is essentially a totalitarian, comically evil regime that limits the access of, um, old world anything, like literally anything, even like the concept of history, is a like it is a restricted, like
Right.
privileged, like the masses are not allowed to know what happened before like the war, basically. Um, and so the government comes in, and they are comically evil, like literally cartoon villain evil. Like this guy comes in, he shoots some guy in the leg for literally no reason. He kidnaps a child along with Akira, and then when they get to like outside of the village, this like commander dude is like, okay, so kill the child and her father, and then after we're done with that, we're gonna kill everybody in the village, for literally no reason, other than it's fun, I guess. And then Akira's like, what the fuck? This guy's fucking evil. It's like, yeah, that's true. And then right as the bad guy's about to do the bad thing, our deuteragonist Yuugure comes in, and she's an android, and she's like, "I'll save you, if you do one thing for me." And Akira's like, "Okay, yeah." Um, and so she kills everybody. Um, and
as you do.
yeah, she kills everybody with this big lightsaber, and it's really gory. Like it's really bloody, and yeah, it's kind of a really weird like tonal whiplash.
PA Works has not done something. They didn't
I
do
mean they did what was it,
They didn't
the
do
fairy tale one? I forget what it
Fairy
was
Gone.
called. Yeah,
Gone
Fairy
or
Gone,
something.
and they did
Okay.
Sirius the Jaeger too, right?
Oh
They
right,
did as
seriously,
well.
Jaeger. Right. Yes.
Um,
Yes.
So they've done
You're
they've
right.
done gory action before, but
Uh-huh.
yeah, this was a very like tonal whiplash for me because it was like, obviously like the villains were like kind of bad, and there was a little bit of blood when he shot that guy, but it was like the fact that she's like zooming around, and she's doing these big like anime jumps, and she's got this laser
Yeah.
sword, and she's deflecting bullets and stuff, but she like cuts these dudes up, and they like literally explode into blood like fountain, and it's
Okay.
like, okay, that was fucking insane. Yeah, that
Suddenly Battle
happens.
Angel Alita. Suddenly.
Yeah, that happens, and it's this big action sequence, and the big, evil commander dude pulls out a fucking like Gatling gun, which is like, okay. And he tries to shoot her, and so she turns her arm into a railgun, and she fucking nukes him and vaporizes a mountain. And it's all very like, what the fuck is happening? Kind of shit. I mean, it looks really nice. Don't get me wrong, but it's kind of like, it's kind of like, this is not the series to be doing this. I feel.
I feel like with like the whole Androids thing, especially. I mean, and a lot of anime series actually have been doing something similar to this, where it's like, these aren't like examples of necessarily good anime series, but something like Miru, right, which I reviewed, where it had like the time traveling robot or timeline traveling robot that like helped people, but they generally didn't use weapons or whatever it is. And then I think you reviewed the ID, like identity, genetics, all that shit, right, like that, right, where it had like the different stories, right, um, of like the AI or whatever the
Yeah.
robot stuff, right? And it wasn't violent, it was just like different stories. Um I think that sort of structure would have been much more pertinent to this sort of series, right? Than suddenly Yuugure turns into, like fucking Battle Angelita and starts sniping everybody, right? Like whatever. So
Yeah, so I mean, I'll get to that, but so that happens, right? And Akira's like, "Gee, thanks." And then she takes her hood off, and she looks exactly like Towa, right? Which is his fiance or whatever, his sister slash fiance. As you do, and then he's like, What the fuck? What the fuck?" And then Yuugure is like, "Let's get married," and he's like, "No, I'm not gonna do that."
Sorry.
And then she's like, "What the fuck?" Um, and then it kind of just goes from there, where Yuugure is like, "I want you to marry me," and he's like, "No, no, I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna do that. I have a fiance, and I'm gonna go look for her." And so it turns into kind of a wandering, um, journey kind of series from there, which is another strange, kind of tonal shift where it's like, yeah, this is like crazy action, and then now it's just like now it's just a wandering series, and then they go into mini arcs, and then after that, it's probably some of the worst dog shit I've ever watched.
So it's like some weird, like it ends up being this weird combination of like Urusei Yatsura and then like a Journey series, except like I guess Urusei Yatsura is also like the episodic like stuff happens and then they have to deal with it, but it's like more of a mini arc format, right? Instead of the episodic format, right? Um, and then they're also going on a journey, but then are they like? Does the journey involve them learning about more different forms of love, or is it just like they're just going around the world and they're like, oh, the
So
apocalyptic world?
yeah, so like I said, how the general theme of this series is definitely like love and how
Yes.
it forms and how it's expressed. So I got through two of the mini arcs. Well, I guess technically three, but one of them is kind of just like meeting the third like party member, basically,
Okay.
of the trio, I guess, right? And so yeah, when they meet the party member, the third girl, what's her name, Amoru,
Mhm.
um, she has also like lost her parents, because I guess her parents were like writers or something. They were authors, and they were making books that were effectively banned by the government. And so the government killed her parents, and now she's kind of like, wandering. And then in the course of the sort of arc that she's involved in, she ends up, taking a deal from the government to sort of trick Akira and Yuugure, is, kind of falling into a trap under the presumption that she'd get some of her parents' belongings back. And then the government is like, lol, you believed us, we're gonna kill you now. And so Akira ends up saving Amaru because he's such a good guy, great guy. And that's kind of it. And then Amaru is like, I want to be in an LC with Akira and Yuugure. And Akira and Yuugure are like, hey, maybe. But Yuugure is like, I want to marry Akira, and Akira is like, I want to find my fiance. So there's like this weird, there's like this weird thing where nobody's reciprocating anybody's like affection in the main party. And I guess like the idea is like as they travel together, they end up, um, finding some sort of bond, right?
The thing is, it's like even that is okay, but the issue I have is like that needs to that needs to go either one of two ways, right? One is like it needs to develop more into like, hey, these personal like feelings coming with these like different ideas of how they want to interact with each other, which is like essentially a weird love triangle. It's like they kind of resolve into something, right? I feel this way, I'm this sort of person, you're this way, you're this sort of person, and it ends like with that sort of character development and growth, right? That, or it needs to build into like, hey, what is love? Like it needs to go back into the original theme, right? The bigger theme, right? And it needs to evolve from there. But it feels like it's not evolving very well, like pacing wise, right?
No, not at all. So that's the first mini arc, right? So the second mini arc, and this was the one that was like, because I was like as I was watching this, I was kind of like not fucking with it, right? But like I was kind of like, okay, maybe this could be something, right? Like it could be something. But the mini arc immediately afterwards, so they come into this town, and within this town, it's controlled by this sort of mafia family, right? And the mafia family has kind of the backstory for the mafia family is there's this obviously like the big head honcho has had multiple children, right? And all of the children have kind of like assassinated each other basically in order to vie for being the heir, right?
Right, the inheritance.
And so there's only two left now. There's two left, and in order to get the seat, basically, the head of the family has been like, okay, you need to like get into an LC with at least somebody, right? Because the idea is like there's no future in the family if you can't even like form a bond with anybody, right? And so as our protagonists are coming into this town slash city slash whatever settlement or whatever, there's some sort of festival going on, and it's effectively a mixer, right? And it's like a festival where you kind of just mingle and see if you can find somebody to LC, right? And so Akira hears this and he's like, that's fucking stupid. Like I don't care, right? Because obviously he's out to find his fiance, right? So he doesn't give a fuck. But Yuugure hears this and she's like, well, I'm gonna go, and I'm gonna see if I'm gonna prove to you basically, Akira, that like I only have eyes for you by going to this thing and showing that I don't, I can't like fall in love with anybody else. And Akira's like, okay, I don't really care.
Does he care?
He's like, I don't really give a fuck. But then he hears about like the mafia thing, and he's like, okay, maybe I should go and watch just to, like make sure she's safe or whatever. Even though he literally just watched her like mulch a fucking squad of trained soldiers. So I don't really know why he's concerned at all. But he goes and he watches. And eventually, like one of the mob bosses ends up proposing to Yuugure, and he starts getting like jealous, basically.
Okay.
And the whole arc is like Yuugure is like, oh, he's getting jealous, so I'm gonna go on a date with this guy so I can make him jealous, so that way he'll fall in love with me. And it's
Okay.
like, this is really tired already. I'm already tired of this.
Yeah.
But then as
I'm already
he's
tired hearing this, to be
yeah,
honest.
so, yeah, I was tired of watching it. But as he's at this festival, he ends up stumbling into the other mob, like boss, kid vying for the family, and she's a girl, right? So she proposes to him, um, and he's like, "What? No, I don't want to do that." Um, but then he talks to her for a bit, and then he realizes that person that she wants to actually marry slash LC slash whatever is her brother, who's also, who just proposed to Yuugure, right? And I hear this, and I'm like, you're not gonna do it. Like, this series is actually going to do this, right? And sure enough, it does. And the whole arc, the whole mini arc here, is getting literally getting an incestuous pairing together. And it's not like a platonic kind of like thing that they're going for. Like, they actively say, they're like, oh well, in an LC between blood relatives, you're not allowed to have kids, but I want that. And it's like, well, like, what are we doing? You know what I mean? It's just like, why like, why is this the first thing we're focusing on? Like, this is the first story we're going for, like, outside of, like, as soon as we set off on the adventure, it's like, we're just gonna have like blood relatives, like, we're gonna play matchmaker for that.
I also feel like the vibes are too heavily geared more towards like either shoujo magazine style romance or like rom-com, like shonen kind of seinen style, seinen magazine style, rom-com romance, and less like a more like thorough, nuanced, thoughtful depiction of like what different forms of love or affection could be, right? Where it's
Yep.
more just like, oh, girl one comes in, oh, girl two comes in, oh, they have different personalities, and it's like, it's not really like that's not
Yeah.
the discussion.
So pretty much as soon as I saw this, I was like done. Like, I was done.
You checked
But
out mentally.
I kept watching.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I'm gonna be reviewing this. I gotta watch at least a good chunk of it, right? But basically, I was kind of checked out at this point. And so that arc, kind of devolves into a bunch of retarded bullshit happening. There's another fight, where Yuugure fucking mulches a bunch of dudes, for no reason, and they get the siblings get together, and it's kind of just like gross, to be honest. Um, and then you know, um, yeah, that kind of resolves, and then they move on to the next town. Um, and then immediately after that, it's a mini arc where it's just multiple onsen episodes back to back. And at this point, I was like, okay, this series is literally
So it's
nothing.
just
There's
rom-com?
nothing.
It's a
Yeah,
rom-com.
so there's nothing in this series. There's no
Okay.
like thematic actual like exploration.
I thought
of
something was gonna go
anything.
on, but it...
Yeah, like, I thought there was going to be like anything like happening in this, but it's
Literally
literally
anything.
just, okay, we're gonna make a rom-com where there's a robot girl and there's a guy, and they just do fucking really generic tropey rom-com bullshit. And yeah, at this point I was just like done.
Yeah.
I was
At that point, you were just like, please just give me plastic memories. Please just give me Koarakakin and Orgel. Please just give me like
yeah, like I
any
would have
generic
preferred.
like.
I would have preferred that. I literally would have preferred that. Because like there are like literally glimpses of like
Oh my god.
even an attempt at like a shallow exploration of anything. Like there are a couple conversations between Akira and Yuugure where Yuugure is like, you know, questioning like her nature as an android or as like a machine of war basically, and she's like, you know, do you care? Like, does that bother you? And it's like it's obvious that it bothers Yuugure, but Akira as a character is kind of just like, I don't care. Like I don't care.
Yeah,
Like
I gotta find my fiance. I gotta
he's like,
fuck my non-blood related relative right now.
yeah, he's literally just like, yeah, I don't really care. Like I kind of want to just like find my fiance, and also like his response to her being um, like I'm a machine of war. Does that not bother you? He's like, well, you know, I was like asleep for the war, so it's like it's not even real.
What?
I'm just like, dude,
True.
you've seen this girl mulch people, like turn them into literal blood pinatas. Like it's real. It is real. You've seen it. So for him to
cool.
just be like,
He was like he wasn't used to all the violence after he was shot anyway, so whatever.
yeah,
Man.
it's just like, I don't know.
As
Yeah,
long as he's
it's just so.
as long as he doesn't get more holes in him, he's like, I'm cool. It's fine, bro.
Yeah, like this series is literally just more shallow and vapid than even the most shallow of these like Android romance series, where it's like it literally
So is it
can't
better than
even.
Chobits?
Fuck no. Like it literally can't even be bothered to acknowledge like the main like theme that a lot of these series like have, where it's like the exploration of like does an AI or does an android or whatever
Right.
do they truly feel emotion?
It's just like actual
Like
love. Yeah.
it literally can't even be bothered to acknowledge that. It's just so it's so vapid. It's so nothing. And like literally
And
all
like
it
even
has
I think
is
even
to
if they
present.
didn't go into that, right, they would have had a good premise with what you just what we initially described, whereas like again the different forms of love, going deeper into the LC, going deeper into like, hey, these girls kind of because they're from the future or whatever, right, they're from different era of human civilization, they approach it differently. That would have been cool, like exploring that, even if it was just like two comparisons, even if it was just previous Earth marriage versus LC now, that would have been pretty cool. But that's not what happened. It's just a wrong call.
Yeah, especially because like it initially sets up this Elsie as like it is like a very free form expression of love. But like every single example they show immediately after that is just romantic monogamous parents.
It's just a rock call. Yeah, it's just a rock call.
It's just like, well, wow, these two people fall in love with each other. But sometimes uh it's like a non-conventional kind of thing.
Sometimes they mention the word
Sometimes
Elsie.
Yeah, sometimes they're siblings, which is like I don't know why that was your first example of being like
Yeah.
a
Oh
non-conventional
my god.
parent. Like
Yeah.
let's immediately do siblings. It's
Yeah.
like, okay, that could have worked if it was non-romantic, but you actively made the decision to turn
Uh-huh.
it into it's so fucked up. It's so. And then the second one after that, I don't like. I don't even really want to go into the onsen ones because like the entire crux of the mini arc for the onsen episodes are like, Yuugure wants to go on a date with Akira, and that's it. Like that's the whole mini arc, and it's like, okay, wow, we're spending multiple episodes on this. And there's like this minor thing in the background where like there are some secondary characters, and one of them is like she like works for the OWAL government, but actually she gives up her position because she's in love with a girl. Wow.
So is this
That's it.
like
That's it. It's
did
like
PA Works just like are we moving into the era where entire anime series are just just clickbait now? Is that where we're going? Because Towa no Yuugure honestly looked like one of those again, like a VN adaptation, right? One of those like not key like the more recent key animation like front wing
Yeah.
visual novel stuff like Island or Summer Pockets or whatever, where they're like the protagonist arrives on an island, and the island is 500 years after the apocalypse. And there he meets a single girl who says, "I love you," or whatever. And it's like it goes into like the mystery of the island or whatever the fuck, right?
Yeah.
I thought it would be something like that, but it's not even that. It's literally just it's nothing.
It really is just like nothingness.
Oh,
So Nier,
God.
let me ask: has the main character been injured in any way?
Yeah, he's been shot multiple times.
Like
Um,
after waking up in the future or whatever?
Yeah, he gets shot by a sniper.
How do we know he's not a robot?
So I'm pretty sure he's just like he was just in like a weird fucking like the Star Wars Kolto tank for like 200
Bacto
years.
tank?
Yeah, and they just like
Bacto tank? Yeah.
they just like didn't wake him up for some reason. Um, but yeah, I know I don't know if this is supposed to be like a twist or something later on. I know he has AI. He has like an AI in his. He has like an AI chip in his brain. Because the episode
everything.
0, like the whole like project that the fiance is working on is like it is literally like the Elon fucking Grok chip, brain chip.
Wait,
Okay.
is this like X-Arm all over again with the main character?
I probably not, man.
Are
But
you sure?
yeah. But he definitely has that because in episode 1, when he meets like the first like tribe or whatever, they are very clearly not speaking Japanese. But it like
Oh,
slowly,
oh yeah, but it's the
Oh
Babelfish,
yeah,
yeah.
Universal
yeah, it like
Translator.
slowly
Love those.
transitions into Japanese. So it's
Uh-huh,
obvious that
uh-huh.
he has like some sort of universal translator.
Yeah.
in it,
Has
which
he
is
gotten the common cold yet here? Don't you know the common cold is deadly
no,
for the future?
no,
Remember that one episode of Futurama?
yeah, but yeah, I don't know if that's supposed to be like the big twist. Is that like he's an AI or like another twist that I see a mile away, because they fucking they make it pretty obvious is that like Yuugure herself, like her like personality and memories are very obviously um Towasa's AI assistant that she
Yes,
speaks to
yes,
in
yes.
episode 0. It's so obvious. It's so fucking obvious.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's supposed to be like one of the big twists or not, but
What
it's-
the main issue I see here, I mean amongst the other issues, of course, but it's like you mentioned all these twists, and they obviously could happen. Like they're very standard twists, and
yeah.
we neither of us were born yesterday, and that's all cool. But to me, it's like the issue is none of these twists really matter
They
is
don't
what
really
I'm saying. It's like
they don't really do
it doesn't
anything.
like emotionally affect me because I'm still in the mode of like, oh, this is a rom-com. So it's like when something happens, right? And it's like, oh, this was the AI assisted all along or Grok chip or whatever, right? It's like it's the same as if there's like a slightly more serious development, like some sort of slightly dramatic portion in like To Love Ru, right? You're just like, yes, but also I don't really care, and I
I mean,
also know that it's probably gonna get resolved.
you forget the fact that not only is it a rom com, but it's a rom com with the absolute fucking over the top melodrama of a
Yeah,
PA
yeah.
Works series. So, like, yeah,
So stupid. Oh my
yeah.
god, I can't believe PA Works fucked the
So
bed this hard
so Nier,
again.
how
God
strong
damn it.
is the robot?
Um,
She's like Battle Angelita,
yeah,
strong.
she's like literally, it's like so far she's literally invincible. The only
Yeah.
threat is the other androids.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
like,
So can she beat
It's like Terminator.
Yeah.
Can she beat a saber marionette? Let's go there.
Probably, man. She has like she's literally melted a mountain. Like, so
Hmm.
you know,
Can she beat?
she's
Okay. Can she
she's
beat
pretty
the
strong.
greatest AI? Can she beat Skynet? Or not?
Probably, yeah.
Not
Yeah,
Skynet.
probably.
Can she beat 01? Or sorry,
I don't know, man.
02?
Can they survive a nuke? Like,
Yes.
because she can kind of
The
just do
original
that.
Kamen Rider can survive a nuke, and everyone scales to him.
Yeah, I mean, she can kind of just do that at will. So,
Yeah, but
Um,
anyways,
but yeah, the last thing I wanted to comment on in terms of like story, and this isn't really like a big deal, but to me, this kind of was like the first, not really the first, but it was kind of like the kind of most apparent, like really bad taste in my mouth is. So this is Japan, right?
right,
We are in Japan, 200 years in the future, right? And like the concept of like Japanese as a language being wiped out is already kind of silly, right? Like
I
200
mean,
200 years
well,
isn't
maybe not in
really
200 years, but possible.
yeah.
Remember, near the universal Earth language is English.
Uh-huh. Yeah, but like a culture doesn't really get wiped out just because there's a war, right? Even if it's a really big war, um but that's not really the point I'm making. The real like a gripe I have is like the tribe, the first tribe he meets, and I call it a tribe because they're the only settlement like this where they're very clearly depicted as like a tribal people that like don't really have access to like any sort of technology or infrastructure or anything. Um, they're all brown and they're all wearing like
nice,
these
nice.
they're all wearing these like colorful like parkas and stuff. um
Oh yeah, that one.
yeah, and like I'm not really trying to like be woke or anything here, but like it's a very obvious like just kind of attempt to be like, oh well, they're like different, they're like not Japanese, right? So we're gonna make them
They're
brown.
animals.
We're gonna make them brown, and they're gonna live in like tents, and they're gonna trade in like linens and stuff.
It's
And
like
it's
Is
like,
that. It's
okay,
like it's like the
you know,
same. It's like only slightly less offensive than again. It's like Eiyuu Senki, the visual like
yeah, the
novel
fucking
slash like title
dark
thing.
continent.
The dark zone, the dark continent, and it's just
Yeah,
Africa. And it's
yeah,
like shadow
and
walkers, like
it's
Nethermen,
like
Endermen, walking around.
like that. I'd be, a little bit accepting of
near
that. I'd be a little bit accepting of that if they didn't immediately leave that like tribe settlement and immediately go into like, Victorian London.
near.
Where like it's
What
very
if
obvious
there's
that like there are still cars, there's very much still infrastructure. There are
God damn it.
trains, they're running trains. So I don't understand why the first like impression of like the post-apocalyptic Japan was a bunch of brown people wearing fucking parkas.
Tribal, tribal shit.
they're just what is it? They're just the indigenous Ainu people of Japan.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just
I
like
don't.
They're
what was
just their
what's that one
casino is
series?
downstairs near or down the block near. You just don't understand.
What's that
Yeah.
series with the gold map and the chick and the really bad CGI bear? They're
Golden
Ainu, aren't
Kamuy.
they? Yeah, Golden Kamuy. They're just from Golden
Yeah,
Kamuy near.
yeah. I don't think so.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay.
yeah, that was kind of just like the last thing I wanted to comment on, just because it was kind of gross. It was kind of gross, in my opinion. But
So is it better than a Gargantia?
no, definitely not.
Gargantia was like tolerable to watch until
Yeah,
the
Gargantia
end.
was like okay. It was like watchable.
The if you
Um,
cut out the ending, I think Gargantia is like okay, like fine.
yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess on audio visuals, I'll comment on really
Mm.
quickly. Its PA works. It looks pretty nice. The colors are quite nice, I will say. The general palette is pretty solid. The action sequences are pretty good. They're not really choreographed all that well, but I mean, it is kind of mostly just Yuugure jumping around and killing people.
Mhm.
I guess it doesn't really need to be choreographed all that well. And again, it's not really like an action-heavy series. You know, action just kind of spontaneously happens for no real reason
So
in
you're saying the
particular.
Sakugs are good?
Not really. They're like okay. But you know,
What would you compare them to?
I don't know. Like it's kind of hard to compare them to anything because, like I said, the gore in this series is very like it's very like 2010. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where,
Explicit.
like
It's very
where like
explicit.
the guys like get cut up into like giblets and they explode in blood. Like it's very another. I'll say.
Oh, okay, okay. So
Like Blood Sea? Blood,
I see.
I guess?
I mean, Blood Sea was Blood Sea didn't look very good. I'll say.
Yeah, that's the major
But
issue.
you know, but yeah, the
Okay.
visuals are pretty solid.
Can we, before you go on to the audio part of the general anime, can we talk about the character designs? Is there something that you want to tell us about?
No.
It's like I kept I kept mistaking this. I think Toast also did as well. It's like the eyes and stuff like that, and the facial proportion, the
They look
ratios.
just like Yaiba.
Yaiba or Conan, kind of, and it was like I also asked, like, is the character designer for one of the Conan guys? What's happening? And apparently it
Yeah.
wasn't, but it's very like weird.
Yeah, apparently it's some mangaka, Midori Tariyama. They've done a few stuff or a couple of manga.
Mhm.
It seems like this is like their main. I guess their first like original character design for an anime series.
Right.
It seems like one of their manga is like greenlit for an anime adaptation as well.
Okay.
Too sure.
Mhm.
But yeah, they have a very their style is pretty. It definitely has like notes of the sort of Conan style where like the eyes are very similar. Um, the I guess the kind of like shape of the head, the fairly large
Mhm.
forehead as well. Um, and the sort of long, slender limbs are pretty similar to something that you might see in Conan. Um, but yeah, it definitely has that sort of vibe to it. It is pretty distinct, I think, and I think it works pretty well. This series. Although what I will say is the like the androids in this series, like the cast of androids are like they all look like Towa, which is like I get kind of like the idea behind it.
Mhm.
Um,
Right.
but in the OP they present like there's at least like 9 of them, right?
9 different tosses.
And I feel like if you're gonna make that many different androids, like it probably would have been a better idea to make them look like, a bit more unique as opposed to just
At
all
least put
having
like a name tag on them instead of having
like
like
all
a
having the
Misaka.
same face and like they all have the same face and just like, different hairstyles and different outfits.
Even the Misakas had like the different, like the one had like the head goggles and the other one had whatever, stuff like
Yeah.
that, right? So
I mean they
A
are
lot of
pretty
them
distinct. Like,
look the same. They kind of do different expressions.
Yugure is blonde, and the samurai one has black hair with like a big ponytail.
Yeah.
And there's like a nun one as well, but it's like, it's just it feels oddly limiting, be like, yeah, they'll look the same. Okay, sure. But yeah, as for the music is pretty bog standard as you'd expect for one of these kind of, um,
Unfortunate.
it's like it's kind of like a soft fantasy style, vibe. It's pretty standard. It's not like bad or anything, but
A lot of like pizzicato strings, plucking strings, stuff like that.
yeah. Some horns here and there, but
Uh-huh.
the OP is Platform by Udo. It's kind of boring. I'll say it's kind of boring.
What about the storyboarding? The
The
storyboarding also
visuals,
boring.
yeah, the visuals are pretty standard. A lot of kind of characters running around, standing still, posing, etc.
Okay.
The ED, however, is Two of Us by Hannah Hope.
Just the two of us. I know that song.
Yeah, and I like Hannah Hope. I like her voice quite a bit. And I think this ED is actually really good. It's got a pretty nice storyboard. It focuses on Amoru specifically, like her character. Sort of like flashbacks to her family, her drawing, stuff like that. And it is very kind of focused on her, like as a, kind of like just her backstory, stuff like that. It's cute. The song is really nice. Visuals are really nice. There's a lot of nice digital effects for stuff like the sunlight bouncing off of water and stuff like that. And yeah, it's a nice ED. I'd say it's probably the best thing of the show. Actually, I'd say it's definitely the best thing of the show. It's absolutely the best thing of the show. So plus bonus there. Yeah, the audio visuals are pretty solid. I mean, PA Works, they don't usually stumble in terms of the audiovisual department.
Yeah, that's for sure.
So they definitely.
It's just like they're picking the right material that they usually.
Yeah. The audiovisual solid. I think the only other staff that's kind of worth noting here is the director and series composition is Naka Tsuda. And he, if you don't know, is the director behind pretty much every single part of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
Oh yeah, name 3.
Part 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 5. That's the ones he did. So, I don't really know what happened here, to be honest. Because it's not like he's not talented, right? And there's definitely money behind this. So it's very likely other talent behind this that I didn't really look too much into because I kind of didn't really give that much of a fuck about this series. But he's definitely a noteworthy one among the staff. So yeah, yeah. I don't really know what else there is to say about this other than I fucking hate it. I fucking do not like it. Not good.
Yes. Any kind of last words that you would want to make? About this?
Would you the android girl here?
Probably, yeah. She's cute.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. I guess last thing to comment on, I guess, is the voice cast in that so I found it a little bit odd to so they're doing the whole thing where Yuugure looks like Towa, right? But she's not. So Towa is voiced by Kayona Ai. But Yuugure is voiced by Ishikawa Yui, right?
Okay.
And all of the other androids are voiced by different voice actors.
So that's like how you sort of tell them apart. Is that how that works?
But the samurai one is voiced by Miyuki Sawashiro. The nun one's voiced by Tomari Kusunoki. But to me, I think like the other androids being voiced by different voice actors is fine. But to me, if you're gonna play on the whole thing where it's like Yuugure looks like Towa, who is the fiance, I think if you really wanted to play on that, she would sound the same too. No,
right.
But they sound completely different, and it kind of because this series does flashbacks, right? It does
Right.
common flashbacks, and so it kind of like it kind of makes them like very distinct. Like they're not.
It sort of lessens the impact that the flashback would have on Akira looking at the present Yuugure is sort of what
Yeah,
you're saying.
yeah.
Yes.
Like I
Yes.
feel if Yuugure
Mhm.
looked and sounded the same, it would kind
Mhm.
of have more of like a more persistent pull as it
Uh-huh.
kind of bounces between like the current moment and the flashback, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, a bit of an odd casting decision, in my opinion. But everybody does their jobs pretty well.
Mhm.
Ishikawa Yuri actually is doing like um the not 2B voice here. Like she's not just doing 2B's voice for the millionth time. She's
Yes.
actually
Yes.
doing a
Yes.
bit
Yes.
more of she's a bit more of energetic here. Which is nice to hear. Um,
She's slowly racking up a collection of like just doing android like roles now.
yeah. But I think the fact that she didn't just do like the cool, calm, collected voice
Yeah.
here
Yeah. Yeah.
is a nice
Exactly.
touch.
For sure.
Yeah, she's a bit more outgoing and energetic here, a bit more playful,
Mhm.
which is nice. But yeah, the voice cast is quite good overall.
Okay.
Unfortunately, it's just tied to a terrible story. But what can
Yeah.
you do?
Yeah.
But yeah, otherwise, I'm just kind of like, I just think it's kind of funny that I'm looking at the mall review like breakdown, I guess, of like recommended and not recommended. Um, and I'll just post this little bar DM, which I find it kind of funny. But
Oh, holy shit.
yeah,
Whoa there.
yeah. But yeah. As for that, I guess I'll wrap it up. Give it a rating. It's currently sitting at 6.78 on Mall, which
That's a good score.
I will note is higher than Kimikoi, which I reviewed last episode, which I had much higher praises for.
Uh-huh.
But
So that means you're wrong there.
that's Mal for you.
It's because unlike Kimikoe, this one is sad. It has sad themes like people
Yeah,
getting chopped up
I
by
think
androids
it's
or cyborgs.
also like I did peep a couple of the forum discussions for the episode discussions on
Uh-huh.
Mall, and I do think it's like an ever like a constant truth of the world where you could have like the worst, most abysmal dog shit series known to man, but as long as it looks nice, people will say they love it.
If it looks nice and then it contains potentially sad themes.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
like the world is gone and I can't see my fiance anymore. Oh no. And then people will be like, wow.
wow.
This brings a tear to my eyes. Oh my
This
god.
is this is truly moving me. This is making me feel something. Must be good. But yeah, as for what I would give this, I'd give this probably a 1.5. And one of that 1.5 is coming pretty much purely from the visuals.
Okay.
Yeah, I think this is dog shit. I think this is. I said it in the chat for podcast, but I think I can't really think of any other. Well, that's not true. But like, so I'll preface it like this: I can't really think of any other PA Works series that made me actively upset watching it from the get go.
Oh, from yeah, okay.
Like from like basically episode one. Because plenty of PA Works, there's been plenty of PA Works series where I've been kind of like on board with it up until like because the standard PA Works formula is like do something decently and then episode 9 comes around and then you
Yeah.
either stick the landing or you shit your pants.
That or the entire series is just mediocre. Not bad, but like just like
Yeah,
boring and
it's
like
just
there's
like
no
okay,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But this one's just like bad. This one's just like, bad, like actively not good.
Yeah.
Is it
So-
It's
better
also
than
disappointing. It's disappointing, right? Because it's like there
Yeah,
could
for
have
sure.
been good places it went.
For
but
sure,
they-
yeah, because there are like there are inklings of like an idea here where it's like that could you could have had something there, like you could
Yeah.
have done something, but it's just like they kind of present it, and they're just like, all right, we're just gonna ruin this. We're gonna fuck with this.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
Yeah.
yeah, I hate the show. I think it sucks. Um, Yeah.
What rating would you give it?
I give it a 1.5.
We just said 1.5.
Sorry.
Yeah.
So-
Um,
So
Yeah.
actually, Nier isn't 1.5 greater than a One Punch Man score at IMDb?
Yeah, maybe, I don't know. IMDb rates like fucking everything lowly. Like you could have like a really good movie and it's rated like a 6 on IMDb. So
my question is near, and this is the most important question. On a scale of, I think I asked you this before the podcast, but on a scale of glass lips to Kanon
Yeah.
/ Angel Beats, where does this lie on the PA work scale here?
yeah, so I think when you asked me that, I was like halfway through episode 3. And I said it was pretty close to Glasslip. I would actively put this below Glasslip.
It starts digging the ground below the scale.
Yeah, like I feel like this could very well be like the worst thing that PA Works has ever put out.
Oh my god.
It's really
So
bad. Like
unfortunate. Yeah.
it's not good. So
All right. Well, thank you very much to sorry, Nier.
You're
excuse
welcome.
me. My brain is going haywire right now, so I apologize. Nier for helping to cover Towa no Yuugure, also known as Dusk Beyond the End of the World, also known as Twilight of Eternity, which I think is honestly a better localized title. But this is a manga adaptation adapted by PA Works.
this is original.
Wait,
This is original,
yeah,
bro.
I was gonna say, isn't this
Really?
original? Yeah.
Oh, the manga came after, or it's a multimedia project? What's happening? with
I
this?
guess probably.
Oh, what the manga came after the. Oh, yeah. The manga came after the
It's
anime,
probably a simul
and it's
release.
it's like a weird multimedia project going on right now. They're probably gonna release a mobile game in like a couple of weeks. Don't worry about it. But it is an anime original, run by the PA Works team. Obviously, previously they did the Mikadono sisters, I think, and then before that they did a spy. I want to say not Spy Classroom.
Spy Family.
No, not Spy Family. But they did a couple of things before this that were not that great. But we were willing to give them the, how do I say this, the benefit of the doubt, right?
Oh yeah? What's the greatest anime they've ever made? Also, by the way, I hate True Tears.
It's like Iroha.
Yeah. I think Nier would probably say Angel Beats. I would probably say either Angel Beats
You
or
just said
Hanasaki
Hanasaki
Iroha.
Iroha.
Yeah.
I mean,
Are
personally,
you sure?
I like Angel Beats more, but like in
Yeah,
terms
yeah,
of
yeah.
like objective, like
Completeness, yeah.
yeah, I'd probably say
Um,
Hanasaki is their
What
best.
about Umi Mamasume Nier?
The original Umima Musume anime.
Yeah,
feel
where
like
they
they-
were
I
two
feel like they
buddy
kind of-
with Silent Suzuka.
I feel like they kind of
Yeah.
phoned the Uma Musume anime in. But
Yeah. But the thing is, it's like after they did, a couple seasons back, because they did this like they had a decent streak from Aquatope, right? Where they had Kongming, Paripikome, they had Akiba Meiwar, which was decent. They had Buddy Daddies, Skip a little for
Didn't-
Sakuna, and like
Didn't you
Nada
not
Nada
like,
was kind of whatever.
Didn't you not like what is it? Akiba
Akiba
Meiwar?
Meiwar?
Yeah, you
Well,
covered it, right?
I sort of came around to it. I didn't like it initially, but I took your perspective to heart, right? And then I was like, I guess that makes sense from that perspective, right? So I wasn't like super against what you said when you were like, oh, like Akiba Me War is good from this perspective. But like they had a decent streak, right? From Paripikome all the way to Mayanaka Punch. But then
Yeah.
like recently they've done like Hibimeshi wasn't that good. The Mikado no Sisters was iffy. Now this, and it's like like what do you guys do? And they also don't really have any ground to stand on. They don't have that, what is it, the Sayonara Zetsubo like meme thing of like it's an homage. It's an homage. Don't blame me. They don't have that excuse because pretty much like most of these are original works. So it's like you can't say anything. You can't say shit, guys. So very very unfortunate, I think. I don't know what it is they're trying to cook up over at PA Works, but they need to get out of the kitchen here.
Yeah,
So.
did you watch the Miku movie?
No.
Oh, I heard that's pretty good.
But yeah, anyways, thank you very much, Nier, for helping to cover this. I know this was one of the bigger series that, or rather, it is like one of whenever PA Works kind of pops up on the horizon, it is a series that does become big on social media, and it is something we do end up needing to cover. So thank you very much for helping cover for us. So thank you very much. Again, it was Towa no Yuugure. Don't watch it. I don't know what else to say. All right. With that, we're gonna run through the news. There's a decent amount of news this time around. I apologize. I'm gonna try to run through it as quickly as possible with the more relevant pieces of news. And I'm gonna try to section it off, and I'm gonna cordon it off into like different sections. The first kind of general wave of news is gonna be about the webtoon industry. So there's a lot of different news about how Kaka Koka is how I'm gonna say the acronym, which is the Korea Creative Content Agency, alongside the Korean Ministry of Culture, Sports, and Tourism, are working together with companies like Naver Webtoon and stuff like that to kind of expand partnerships and support for webtoons and their related media ventures such as games. So there's a lot of stuff like that. Naver Webtoon partners, or let me actually put this in order. So there's a lot of like that, like governmental support and stuff like that. K-pop agencies like Hybe, for instance, are now getting into making more like webtoons and getting into this sort of franchise kind of thing. So there's this like weird intermingling of like media forms going on right now, which I don't know how to feel about that. It's a lot more like I don't know whether the I don't know whether webtoons is like that big of a money making vehicle as potentially the K-pop agencies make it out to be. So that's that. Naver Webtoon apparently marked their 20th anniversary with a special tribute series. Line Manga launched a Webtoon Grand Prix with a grand prize offering of 10 million yen. That's $100,000, or a bit less than $100,000. Quite a less than $100,000. It's like probably what it's like 65. It's actually like $65,000. Sorry, I apologize. If you
looking bleak, Japan bros.
yeah, and then obviously again more support by Koka. But the most important thing, kind of that's shadowing all of this, is this specific piece of business news, which is Webtoon Entertainment, again run by Naver and probably the biggest webtoon agency / company in the world right now, and probably the lead driver of Korean webtoons. So Webtoon Entertainment posted higher revenue, so that's like essentially flowing income, right? But swung to a loss in the third quarter of 2025, as slowing user numbers in Korea and other global markets weighed on the company despite strong performance in Japan and continued growth in its IP adaptation business. So, you guys know how I keep pounding the table about how the webtoon industry is expanding too fast. It is too fat, too large for its britches right now. And it's going into a bubble, and it's just the arrow can't keep going up. The chart does not keep going up. There is a limit. And we know that the limits are very imminent, like very, very soon down the horizon, because there have already been other like bankruptcies and other webtoon agencies and licensing companies and whatever publishers, digital publishers going into the red, right? Recently, in recent years, right? In the recent like year or so, right? And so, I this news doesn't surprise me, but it's very disappointing to see these companies just try to go full steam ahead anyways, thinking that something will change when it's just like they've expanded too much compared to what the actual revenue is. Because it's not like, I mean, even K-pop, right, is going to probably moderate in the next 5 to 10 years, right? I think we can probably say that with confidence, right? And they sucked up enough money. Webtoons is not K-pop, right? It does not have that much reach. I'm sorry, like it just doesn't. It might be a more generic, general format, but it just doesn't have as much reach as K-pop. But it's expanding more than K-pop is. So what are we talking about right now, right? And then meanwhile, while Webtoon reports revenue, or sorry, net losses in the third quarter, despite these like revenue increases, right, because of their expansion, Webtoon is also partnering with a Paris opera for a new ballet-themed original webcomic. Like, what are we doing? Like, stop expanding. Stop expanding. You guys are not like properly generating as much as you guys want to because you're going to be expanding. And then eventually, when you guys get enough into the red, you guys are just gonna like fire everybody, or just crack down on all the artists like that you initially gave the money to. So this whole like super aggressive expansion when there's clearly not enough of a market to get everybody in is just extremely frightful and disappointing, I think. So on the sort of next segment, this is just like general company stuff. Nintendo acquires Bandai Namco Studio Singapore. Kadokawa acquires Anime Festival Asia organizer Sozo. That's gonna be weird. Kadokawa, obviously, in a lot of these sorts of things, publishers start doing a lot of these like, or not publishers, but like big companies start doing a lot of vertical integration as well. Just kind of try to suck up all like the different levels of like different marketing and different levels of like control in the chain. And obviously this is also one of them, right? Because anime festival stuff is essentially marketing for them, right? So but the biggest one on the horizon, and the one that has gotten everybody up in a tizzy in mainstream media, is Netflix has entered into an agreement to acquire Warner Brothers. So this means that Netflix has officially overtaken potentially one half of the anime world. For those of you who are not in the know, probably the two largest license holders within the anime industry, like if you talk about it from like a sort of general umbrella company perspective, right? One half of the world is consumed by Sony Pictures, and the other half is consumed by Warner Brothers. And currently, Netflix has swallowed up Warner Brothers. So,
Assuming it doesn't get stopped.
yeah, assuming it doesn't get stopped, but right now I think this is not the right administration to stop a Netflix merger unless Netflix CEO like.
I'd seen some talk on it, and I think the most realistic thing that might happen is that they threaten to not that they threaten to stop it, but that like Warner Brothers or someone else tries to sort of like outbid Netflix to pump them up even more, and then to have Netflix then come in at an even higher price.
Yeah,
and
there'll
that's
be
probably
some
like
price
the worst
bargaining.
thing that's gonna happen for them.
Yeah. There'll be some haggling, but there won't be like.
I mean,
Because I forget what that happened to recently. It was like the board
the only other
tries
company that's
to.
in the running to buy Warner Bros. Is Paramount, which
Well, but they can do it themselves too. There was another, I forget what other company did this recently, where you basically have like the board do like a hospital like almost like
Toss the takeover?
renegotiation. Yeah, and then they basically try to like say that they're gonna buy themselves for a certain price.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
And then
yeah,
Netflix
yeah.
comes in and goes, "Okay, we'll offer you like 50 million more."
Yeah,
And then they buy them out.
Yeah.
And I think also,
So,
I think government
yeah.
government also plays a role in that process too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, essentially, if this goes through, the two halves of the world will be Sony and Netflix in terms of the anime industry. So that'll be a very interesting net landscape. And do note that Netflix, despite initially having obviously positive reviews here and there with regards to the anime contracting industry compared to some of the others, has obviously come under fire in more recent years for not giving studios proper funding and packages, right? Proper deals, right? For making full like seasons of anime, right? And that's obviously gonna get worse, right? As they swallow more power, right? There's no reason for them to give more money, more bargaining power to small studios once Netflix
they
has.
have more money to give away.
That is true. They will redistribute all the wealth. That's how trickle down works. I agree. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. But it's a very I would say honestly, it's a distressing timeline, especially after the Sony Kadokawa deal and then this current deal going on. So, next is we have some rankings. Everybody loves numbers and rankings. Obviously near the end of the year, so a lot of these like manga and whatever rankings are and awards and what stuff is coming out. Oh, one last piece of company news, by the way. Crunchyroll launches on Whale smart TVs. So it says its streaming service is now available on Whale TV-enabled smart televisions. Whale TV owners can add Crunchyroll to the OS through the TV's App Store. First, I don't even know what the fuck Whale TV is. Second,
Yeah, what
Crunchyroll.
Tim Robinson.
It has
fucking corncob TV.
It has been 50 years since Crunchyroll has actually improved their user experience, and instead they're going out again like sponsoring cricket teams or fucking putting their shit on Whale TV, whatever the fuck that means.
How much money do you think they made from the auto concerts? Because those were sponsored by Crunchyroll.
I mean, those probably
they made a
went a
lot.
lot to the other like. It depends on where they were on the supply chain, right? Because it's like if they took full control of like the ticket like processing everything.
If they were just a sponsor, they paid.
Yeah.
So, but as far as like their uptick in like what they'd gain from an auto concert is like kind of debatable because it's like,
yeah,
how many people already aren't aware of your service? So
yeah, because at the end of the day, again, where does most of the money for that sort of stuff go to? It goes to the front end. It goes to the publishers, such as places like Ticketmaster, right? Most of the money in that instance goes there. So it depends on where.
But it's like unless Crunchyroll was a like collaborator, like if they were just a sponsor, they paid to sponsor those. They're not getting Crunchyroll money directly.
Yeah, if Crunchyroll was smart, what they would actually do is have a start up their own like Ticketmaster service, and B, start up their own prediction gambling market where every month they get users to predict how high the price of their tickets and how high the price of their subscription will go up. And then
will
whoever
we
gets
use AI to dub this series? Yes or no?
Yeah. they use AI to dub the prediction market like the better people. in Japanese. That's how that goes. We have simul dubs in Japanese and German. So this is the real
During
talk.
the auto concert, there was like no hint of Crunchyroll at all, other than like, oh, here's the sponsored by Crunchyroll at the bottom or whatever. So
So then they probably paid money for
Yeah, they probably
the
just paid
marketing or
like
whatever.
yeah, they probably paid like
well, sponsor
some
them
sugar
again.
chas.
I want that third core of concerts. Why not? They're fun.
But yeah, we'll see how Crunchyroll does. But anyways, going back to like the numbers and the rankings.
That's a good use of their money, other than like what having their Crunchyroll parties or whatever they spent it on.
Yeah. First, for those of you who don't know, there's a very popular, not popular, but there's a very like high recognition brand book called Colorado ga sukoi, also known as This Light Novel is Amazing guidebook, which is essentially a listing of like the top ranked light novels according to them, right? They are the ones that review and rank them. And this year they did for Bunkobon, they did Asobi no Kanke, The Angel Next Door Spoils Me Rotten, Too Many Losing Heroes, also known as, I think that's Makine, right? Alia sometimes hides her feelings in Russian. By the way, for those of you who also don't know, this like the whole like Kono Light Novel ga sukoi, that this ranking is an extremely like casual mainstream list. So that's why you'll see these sorts of titles. You'll have Tenseisha de Mune no Ana o Umanaranai, also known as The Hole in My Heart Cannot Be Filled with Reincarnation. Delta to Gamma to Rigakubu Note, also known as The Science Notes by Delta and Gamma. Middle Note ni Sayonara. There's that. 週末定た委員会. This is the End Stagnation Committee, the Apothecary Diaries, and Is It Wrong to Try to Pick Up Girls in a Dungeon? So that's Danmachi, right? I believe. So, and then Tankobon and for novels, they have Secrets of the Silent Witch, A Tale of the Secret Saint, Dahlia in Bloom. That time I got reincarnated as a slime. Akayaku Reijo wa dekinai. Sorry. Akayaku Reijo wa dekiai route ni hairimashita. Nanji Anko no Aiseo. A Tale of the Secret Saint Zero. Meikyu Kusotake. 恋した人は妹の代わりに死んでくれのと言った。And also History of the Kingdom of the Orcsen. So, I guess so that's the ranking. Again, if you want kind of like mainstream titles for light novels and stuff like that, check out these. And then the more important one, we have the judging committee of the 71st Shugakukan Manga Awards revealed the nominees for this year's awards on Wednesday. Each winning title will be honored with a bronze statuette and a prize of 1 million yen, which is about $6,450. So I guess the line manga thing is like even lower than what I said it was. It's like 64K, which is kind of sad. But anyways, the nominees here are, and these are series that honestly, again, if you are like a manga reader, you should probably check out some of these. A lot of these do tend to be pretty good. So one of them is うちの犬が子猫を拾いました. Also known as Dog Meets Baby Cats. My dog picked up some baby kitten, or I guess my dog picked up some kittens. We have 運命の巻き戻し. Fall in Love, You False Angels. Cosmos. Jumbo Max. I've not seen a lot of these. I should probably read some of these. We have Dandadan, obviously. Deki no Mogra, The Earthbound Mole. I've seen this one. Floating around. We have, what is this? 火の神様の掃除人ですか? いつの間にか花嫁として溺愛されています。It's like some like shoujo romance kind of thing. Hirayasumi, Firefly Wedding. Dealing with Mikado and the sisters is a breeze, which I believe PA Works covered in their July season release here. So congratulations to these series for being nominated. For the readers out there, for the readers and viewers out there, please do check some of these series out. And that should be pretty much it for the major part. We have some stuff like Yasumoto Hiroki apparently had a traffic accident in the past 2 weeks, and obviously was cautioned by his doctor, but he has now returned to work. But obviously, just hoping he has a safe and speedy recovery. And then first official permanent Gundam base store. So for those of you who don't know, a Gundam base store is just like a huge store that just has like Gundam figurines out the wazoo. The first Gundam base store in the United States will open in Rosemont, Illinois on December 12th. And can I just have you guys read the plot line of this series when I go through like anime news network stuff, I sometimes go through like, hey, some of these like manga or whatever are releasing, and I sometimes I pick up interest and stuff like that. But I read the plot line of this, like the premise, and I was like, what is going on? Nier, can you?
This red, white, and blue one?
Yeah. Nier or Dark, one of you guys try reading out loud this premise, plot line, whatever is on the screen?
When his mother became president, wow, woke, Alex Claremont Diaz was promptly cast as the American equivalent of a young royal. I don't think that's how it works. Handsome, charismatic genius. His image is pure millennial marketing gold for the White House. There's only one problem. Alex has beef with the actual Prince Henry. Okay, you could have picked any other name across the pond. And when the tabloids get hold of a photo involving Alex Henry altercation, US-British relations take a turn for the worse. Bro, nobody would give a fuck. Heads of family, state, and other handlers devise a plan for damage control, staging a truce between the two rivals.
You've seen how this goes.
Yeah, what at first begins as a fake Instagrammable friendship, fuck off, grows deeper and more dangerous than either Alex or Henry could have imagined. Soon Alex finds himself hurtling to a secret romance with a surprisingly unstuffy Henry that could derail the campaign and upend two nations, and begs the question, can love save the world after all? What the fuck are we talking about?
First of all, it didn't beg that question because everything preceding it was how it would be a fucking disaster.
The world needs saving? Like, what do you mean?
That's pretty gay, bros.
And the power.
We save it with gay love. That's how it works.
And the power to
But
people
also tank a campaign. Also, what campaign? I thought his mom was the president already.
Yeah, she is the president. So I don't.
What campaign is this tanking?
I don't know if this author knows like how politics or like world relations work at all.
Yeah.
Or
apparently this
cycle?
is not.
Bro's got
this
4
is,
years.
This is not even written by like a Japanese person, which would like almost excuse like this ignorance. It's written by somebody named Casey McQuistons. Apparently, he's probably just like an expat that's like living in Japan or something like that. But it's like, I don't know what this story is about.
So, is this the modern day My Date with the President's Daughter?
Might be shocked, but it is in fact a one.
Oh my god! Just get me out of here. Get me out of here, brother. Oh my god. But yeah, yeah, I don't know what to say. I just wanted Nier to read that out loud and get his reaction. is what it was. But that was it for the news. We are going to move on to our last segment here in the shoutouts and callouts. Everybody here has one shout out, one call out. It can be any one person, place, or thing. For either one, shout out is something that you want to praise, 5 out of 5 stars, and call out is something that you want to hate, rant about, destroy, 0 out of 10 stars. And we start off now with Toast.
No.
Should have called.
Shout out to Told You Were Writer.
Nice.
Episodes 8, 9, 10, and I think probably 11 and 12.
Mhm.
Really good tournament arc. I will hot take. It's one of the best tournament arcs I've ever seen.
All right. And your call?
Fuck you. You know who you are.
Okay. Thank you very much, Toast. Dark.
Damn, yeah. Shout out to Arc Raiders. That I haven't been having fun personally with that game, but it's been fun to watch. It's been fun to watch streamers play that game, especially when they go to kill people and people get really mad at them. Yeah, that's been. And then my call out, and this might, I don't know, I'll be stealing from you guys, one of you two, but calling out the token fucking OST. What is that
Oh, yeah,
shit,
yeah.
man? What the
Spider-Man
fuck?
theme. Good stuff.
Calling that shit Electro Swing is crazy.
I like saw somebody was like this one is like peak, but the other one is even peaker, and it's like, no, stop
True.
that. You fucking stop that shit right now. But all right, thank you very much, Star. What about you, Nier?
Man, I don't fucking know.
How does it feel without a tooth near?
Feels pretty good actually. No lie. But I guess shout outs to I'm gonna shout out that recent Romeo is a Dead Man trailer. That shit was heat. That shit was fire. Looking forward
Oh,
to
that
that game.
Suda 51 or Grasshopper?
Both.
Yeah,
Cool.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that game looks kind of awesome. It looks like no if No More Heroes 3 wasn't fucking ugly as shit. Which is cool. That's cool. I'm gonna call out Metroid Prime 4.
Don't you love the dude near?
I don't love the dude, and I
Don't
don't
you
love the
love sitting
desert.
through apparently 5 loading screens to get an
Yeah,
upgrade?
I don't like the idea of making a Metroid game where once you pick up an upgrade, you have to go and backtrack to another NPC in order to get to unlock the upgrades you already picked up. Like that
You know
is
what's
so
crazy? You know what's crazy?
so
Because
antithetical to Metroid.
they
Like
literally could have easily just made the excuse like, oh, you're beaming the schematic now back to Miles and he fucking is gonna fire a pod and upgrade pod down to you.
or it could
So
have
you
worked
just
like
don't need to
literally every
move.
Metroid Prime game ever, and you find the
Well,
beam, you find the big orb, and
technically these
Samus
aren't Chozo.
just unlocks it. Doesn't matter. It
Technically
literally
these
doesn't
aren't
matter.
Chozo artifacts. These are Chozo
It
artifacts.
literally
So
doesn't
how
matter.
could it work?
Literally
How
doesn't
could that
matter.
possibly
It
make
literally
sense?
doesn't matter. Also, it's like if it's not Chozo artifacts, you could have made it Chozo artifacts. You literally could have just made it Chozo again. There's literally no reason not to. It's a fucking Metroid game. Fucking everything is Chozo, bro. But yeah, it's just like I don't know. Almost everything I see coming out of that game is like you guys
Oh,
don't
you
understand.
never
Not
mentioned,
only
by
do
the
you
way.
guys not understand what makes a good Metroid Prime game, you guys don't understand what makes a good Metroid game at all. It's just fucking
Yeah, so remember how you were like, oh, the desert is like silent, there's no music?
yeah, yeah. I
Yeah,
know.
so apparently you can unlock the jukebox, and
Yeah, if you have
Fire,
the
why
amiibo.
don't you take it? Yep, there you go. I was gonna say, why don't you take a guess? Yeah, you have to get
Yeah.
an amiibo to get music in the boring ass open desert area. So that's cool, I guess.
Jesus fucking Christ, brother. Oh
Yeah.
my god.
So Nintendo's awesome. Nintendo is hashtag awesome. Also, from what I understand, not only is there all that shit with the desert, fucking fuck ass characters. Apparently, at the very end of the game, they decided to make you do not one, but two big fetch quests where you have to go
Oh,
all
nice.
around the map
Classic.
all over again and collect a bunch of inane bullshit in order to be able to actually access, final area. Which is just like
Everybody loves it. Everybody loves
yeah,
that.
it's just such obvious fucking padding to be like, oh well, the game's not 9 hours long, guys. It's actually 12 if you do the fetch quest. It's like, okay, who cares? Like no. I feel like the only people that give a fuck about like game length are fucking like retards that are like, well the dollar to hour ratio of this game is not sufficient. It's like
The only people who care about game length are the people who like try to one up each other, like being like my game is better than yours by comparing like Metacritic scores and fucking
Yeah.
game length
Or they like only
essentially.
play fucking Skyrim. Like
Yeah.
just pissing me off.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Nier. Um, and as for myself, as for my call out, I hate everything that is currently accelerating this country and to a lesser extent the world to an early demise slash crash, including the gobble markets seeping into every pore, every fiber of our beings. I do not
It's
appreciate
actually
that.
not. It's actually not gambling. It's a prediction market.
Prediction, yeah, prediction markets. I apologize.
I predict.
True.
I predict I will win.
Just
So
like
I'm gonna put
stocks.
money down.
Stocks are not gambling at all.
Yeah, but going prediction markets on top of casual war crimes being committed on top of all this other stuff, and it's just like, please
To
stop.
be fair, it wasn't a war crime because there's no war.
That's true. It's
Can't be a
not a
war crime.
crime if he doesn't get convicted, okay?
I mean, it's still a crime, but it's just not a war crime.
If the Supreme Court says it's not a crime, then it's not. You must acquit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
So that's my call out to that. My shout out is to the vacation I'll be having in Japan in the upcoming week, in 2 weeks. So that'll be fun. But so that's it for now. And again, this will be the last episode of both the fall 2025 reviews, as well as the last last episode of the year. Again, I want to give a sincere thanks to all of the guys here near Toast and Dark for sticking with the podcast and with my yapping through the hard times and the long times for 2025. Obviously, I'm going to become also sappy during the end of the year awards episode in January as well, but just heaving it out here now as well. And thank you to all the viewers for reviewing us throughout 2025 and listening to us. We're going to be doing, again, the winter preview show, hopefully as fast as we can. It might end up just turning into just straight up reviews. We'll see how that goes, how the scheduling goes. And then we'll get up the end of the year awards show where we go over, the best series that we watched, the worst series, a lot of worst series, a lot of disappointments. But obviously, despite all the grousing that we do throughout the seasons, there are usually some gems that do rise, a decent number of gems that do rise to the top every year. So we'll be going over those. So watch out for that. And if you do like what we do, we stream our podcast recording every other Saturday starting from 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time over at twitch.tv/4PlayAnimecast. That's with the numeral 4, where we talk about the latest and greatest in animation-related media, Japanese animation-related media, anime, manga, light novels, web novels, visual novels, and so much more. So you can check out our VODs here, as well as on YouTube, where we also have like highlights and clips available. So whichever format you desire. Check us out on our social media on Facebook, 4PlayAnimecast. Twitter handle at 4PPAnimecast, again with the numeral 4. Blue Sky 4PlayAnimecast for more updates and information across our social media websites. And so you can check us out here, you can check us out there, and as always, we'll see you next time.